treated by politics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're
Yeah,
live.
no, I
Yeah,
haven't seen
well,
it, so
with that
I
being
can't
said,
speak to it.
we are, hey, everybody, it's the 26th of February in the year of our Lord, 2025. Here we are, the weekly Alaboom. I'm in Moorhead, Scott's in Dallas. Anthony is in an undisclosed location on the East Coast, and Chris is on his furlough program from prison, and was kind enough to join us.
Ankle monitor.
He is doing civil disobedience.
Right? They get great wireless in the prison.
I'm gonna start off by saying we're gonna try to do all the normal stuff that we normally do. This episode will probably be highly political, so if that isn't your jam,
No.
That would never happen.
you can
Not with me here.
You
Put
can
my
feel free to
zucchini
tune
bread
out.
recipe away, since we're not going to get to that.
Yeah. I have initials, so if we end up playing initials, we can do that at some point to lighten the load or whatever. Yes, Kabuki Kid, Chris is here.
Hold on. I gotta get in the YouTube chat. I love talking with people in the YouTube chat.
Kabuki, as per your request, you asked to get Chris on. Well, and you and many others asked to get Chris on this week. So I dialed up the bat phone, and actually after I saw that you got arrested, I immediately texted. I was like, "Hey, what's up, Gilbert?"
Yep.
So, yeah, no. Anyway, so I mean, I played a ton of games this past weekend. I got so many board games. I got so many board games I can talk about. I was at a whiskey weekend, and I played
Whiskey.
so many games.
How much whiskey did you drink?
I mean, not a lot. I mean, it's like they basically.
The hangover might be like a sucky thing to have at a board game thing, right?
No, so I mean, it's basically my whiskey that I picked to bring won the best whiskey.
Oh, you won the best whiskey?
Yeah, I won the best whiskey.
What'd you bring?
So Blanton's single barrel.
Wow.
So it runs you about $70, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want a good whiskey, I guess Blanton's is your jive. No, I drove up to Onamia, Wisconsin. Onamia, Minnesota, and on a Friday, and played board games for 3 days, and then I drove home on Sunday. I finally played Blood on the Clock Tower. They love that game, and
I've not played it yet.
And so want to hear my brief overview of it really quickly.
Sure.
Before we talk about how this country is going to shit. So Blood in the Clock Tower, the whole premise behind it is obviously it's the exact same thing as Werewolf. There's the storyteller.
It's not exactly the same.
Well, no, but it's the same premise.
Hidden roll deduction game.
Well, you want me to explain it, or do you want to ask questions?
No, but you said exact.
No, it's the same. It's the same premise. There's been a murder. And the murderer is the storyteller. It's the person that is
the moderator was killed.
Moderator. And the way it works though is kind of like Werewolf. The moderator picks which roles are going to be used. There are I don't remember the number of roles, but there are roles that are a bunch. There's roles that are townsfolk. There are roles that are outsiders who are still on the side of the townsfolk, but their abilities and powers are they aren't helpful in any way. They screw things up for the townsfolk. There are minions, which they have powers that are only good for evil, and there are and then there's the demon, the imp, or whatever that kills somebody every night. So the bad guys and the imp, all the bad guys know who they are. So they know but the demon doesn't know what the roles of his minions are. Though, unlike Werewolf, you were encouraged to get up from your chair, walk around, have discussions with people, do whatever. So, like on the first night, like people will wander around, they'll talk, and the imp player will, if they're trying to, they will get together at some point with the other people on their team, and they'll find out what their abilities are and their powers are. Like is one of the townsfolk is the drunk. So if you're the drunk, the moderator actually tells you um what your like they actually hide the um
True role.
the true role from you. And so like basically so like, oh, I'm the soldier or whatever. And they think they are, but they aren't the soldier. They don't have that ability. But for them, they tell everybody, yeah, if they're talking to other people in secret, yeah, I'm the soldier. And like the soldier's power is they can't be killed at night. They just, the imp can't kill them.
But they're not really the soldier.
But they're not really. They're the drunk.
That's
And
all they are.
but they still win if the good guys win. So yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, that probably throws a monkey in the wrench.
well, yeah, and the whole point is the storyteller is encouraged to sow as much freaking chaos as they possibly can in the city by having certain roles that kind of work against each other and screw things up. So when I played it twice. The first night I was the monk, which means that every night I get to pick one person that I protect and they can't be killed. And then the second night, my role was I was the recluse, which I was an outsider, which means that I could, if like the soothsayer somebody points at me, the at the very beginning of the game, the person that is running the game can decide that I show up as being evil. Like when the soothsayer says, "Is that person good or evil?" They'll tell them that I'm evil, even though I'm not evil. And like so, it's just another way to screw up the game. It was fun. I mean, it's like you go to bed, somebody dies, usually. You wake up, everybody argues, they decide whether or not they're going to kill somebody within the town. I mean, that's
Right. But I think when you're dead, though, you can still do stuff, right?
so when
that
you're
was-
dead, you can still be involved in all the conversations. You can have you're the ghost of the person you are, but you only get one vote for the rest of the game, and you have to decide when you're going to
when
make
you're
that
gonna
vote.
vote. Oh,
When
I
you're
see.
going to vote. And so you have to make sure or whatever. And the big thing is that as long as like and once you use that vote, if it amounts to not having somebody murdered or not having like it's wasted. You don't ever get to vote
Oh, if
again.
it's a
And
tie, you don't win.
yeah, it's a tie. You never get to vote again. It doesn't go back to you. So it's
That's unconstitutional.
yeah, no shit, right? So yeah, I mean, but the thing about it is that game is that I didn't really know anybody, so instead I just sat there and watched people and I listened, and I was able to figure the game out. I was a good guy both times, and I was able to figure out who the evil people were every single time just by watching them and watching what they do and listening. Everybody was like, "How do you do this? How are you so good at this?" I was like, "How are you so bad at this?" I wanted to say, I mean, it's just like all you got to do is you watch who wanders off, and those three guys always go off and talk to each other. I mean, it's just I mean, they're obviously the three bad guys. I mean, there's stuff like that, but that was fun. I mean,
I've seen it played on Twitch, and I guess you can have like secret conversations where people don't get to see who you're talking to. I don't think.
I mean, I suppose on Twitch you can,
There's
but
like,
I mean, but if
well,
you're at a go ahead.
yeah. Well, there's like this. They've developed this whole like app for it and everything. So
No,
maybe
I can buy
and it
into that.
basically like makes you able to talk to people directly. Like I don't know, maybe it's a Discord app. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
I mean, but if I'm in a cabin with like 12 dudes, I mean, it's just like it's
Yeah,
pretty
I mean,
easy
it
to
kind of
see
gives
who
it's
gets
kind
up
of
and wanders
giveaway.
up.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you would maybe not meet up every night. Like
Yeah.
that. Obviously,
Well,
how
supposedly,
much
like
have people played it, right?
Paul said that the reason he got it, the guy, the host, he got it because his daughter went to college, and there was a designated Blood on the Clock Tower lounge where every Friday night
Wow.
from like 9 p.m. till sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning, they just sat in there playing Blood on the Clock Tower with
Wow.
with up to like 20 people at times playing, which is also the weird thing is like it's like you get that many people or whatever playing it, and it's just like, so what are the people? There aren't that many roles, and they're like, oh, then they're like the passers-by, and they can be part of the conversation and stuff like that. Doesn't sound like fun at all. I'm the passerby, I get to like, you
Well,
don't even
that's the villager, right? I mean, you're just a
well,
regular.
yeah, but I
I'm a
mean,
regular old villager, just a average, ordinary
I'm just
villager.
I'm just a normal villager, just
Mhm.
wandering
Isn't that what
around or
everybody
whatever.
says the first round anyway? Um, so Jeff just went on he ran the Clock Tower cruise, Blood on the Clock Tower cruise. I think it was like 100 people. They did like a BGG type cruise.
Ah, well, I mean, that
Yeah.
sounds fun. I mean, is it you play one game for the entire cruise and they get all 500 people together and they vote? I mean, that'd be pretty
Well,
amazing.
it
And then
was. I think it was
and
pretty
then they
small. It
actually
was,
throw you off the boat if you if you voted off. I
No,
mean,
hope you know how to swim.
yeah, it's a good mile to shore.
no, it's just like a board gaming cruise. They may not have just played Blood on the Clock Tower, but it was organized by the Blood on the Clock Tower company.
Got it. Well, Jeff probably really
Well,
enjoys the game.
Jeff ran the cruise part.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
like BGG.
Did you allow him to work outside of your purview on these
Yeah,
things?
he's free to do what he wants.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, I play
Doesn't
lots of other
doesn't
games.
interfere with our stuff. Anyway,
Uh,
yeah, cool. What
Played
else?
about 100 games of Strike. Nobody there had ever
100?
played Strike. At
Wow.
least, I mean, it was just insane because like I was like somebody said, oh, what's something quick we can play while we're waiting? And somebody was like going to get out some deck building game. And I was like, no, just put that away. I said, they're going to be done in like 20
Put
minutes.
your cards away.
Yeah, I was like, let's play Strike. And they were just like, what's this? And I opened it up and they're like, what is this? And I was like, just take
Yeah.
5 dice. Let me teach it to you. And it was just like, and after the first game, like everybody else at the other table playing the other game was like, what are they playing over there that everybody's screaming and yelling about? And everybody was like, whoa, no, you suck. And just like, and as soon as they got done, they're like, this is amazing. And like every single person like got on their phone and bought one off Amazon.
So here's the question: do you allow people to arrange the dice before they throw?
No, they have to,
It's in the rules, by the way.
no, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Or you can arrange the dice.
You can arrange the dice in the bowl before you throw them. That's
No,
what
you
I'm
cannot. No, I'm
guaranteed.
getting the
Go
rules.
pull the
I'm getting
rules.
the rules.
Go pull the rules. No one teaches it that way, though. That's why he doesn't know the rule. Because it's dumb.
It's an edge case rule. It's only meant to piss people off.
I love that he's so sure. Oh, you have the new version. So that might now here's the thing. I have the original version.
Are you already backtracking? Or are you already
No,
giving
but
excuses?
you have a different version than me. I have the original version. That is not the original. That is a reprint. That is another version of it.
Oh, really? Because Ravensburger, isn't allowed to publish Strike. Is that what you're trying to say?
I have the original version, sir. It has
Okay.
not that box.
Okay, here it is. Playing the game.
Oh, please.
Of the
Can't wait.
official
Can't wait.
Strike. Take turns, beginning with the oldest player and continuing clockwise. On your turn, you must roll one die to the arena. It is up to you whether you drop it cautiously or throw it with reckless abandon. You may strike other dice in the arena with your roll. Warning: once dice that miss the arena are bounced or knocked or knocked out are immediately removed from the game. The game ends when only one player has dice. That player is the strike champion. With each roll, check the arena for X. Remove any dice showing X from the game. These will not be used again. After removing these dice, check for matching results. Matching dice. If there are any dice with matching results, take them from the arena and add them to your pool of dice. If there are multiple matching, you take those dice as well. If you have made a match, remove those dice and your turn is over. It is now the next player's turn. If there are no matches, you may either end your turn or risk throwing another die into the arena. With each throw, you must follow the steps above to check the arena for X's or matching dice. If there are still no matches, you can keep trying until you make a match or you run out of dice. Then it talks about if you run out of dice, you're out. And if at the start of your turn, all the dice are gone, the next person has to do the all in, where they have to throw all the dice.
Yeah, it's the best.
Tips and tricks. You may rotate the arena at any time to get the best shot. However, you are not allowed to rotate the arena if there is a cocked die.
Oh, really? That's a rule I didn't know.
And then the next, I mean, that tips, tricks, and then it is always a better idea to roll your last die than to hold on to it and roll your last die to get a match, then hold on to it and wait for your next turn.
Is that true? Yeah, I guess.
Uh.
I mean, I guess if you're in a process, if you have multiple, I don't know. Maybe that's a questionable tip.
Players may optional rules.
Okay.
Players may decide if they want to have the number of dice they have open or hidden. Both are acceptable, but all must abide by this rule when decided. Here you go. You may not rotate dice, stack, or change the result of dice or move them in between throws. That is in the rules.
That is a different rule book. I guarantee you, it's a different rule book. They've changed.
Well, last time I checked, Ravensburger is the only one that is printing the game right now.
Well,
so these are now.
I'll find the original rules.
These are now the official. I don't want to hear about some
I hear
back
you, Lance.
alley.
Here's the thing that they removed all that rule because no one played it that way anyway. I was trying to basically
your rules suck, Lance. That's what he's trying to say. Your rules.
I was
suck.
just wondering because I played with somebody and they were like, they started moving these around. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, that's part of the rules. I'm like, oh yeah, and they pointed it out to me. But obviously they've changed the rules now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can see the original.
If only there was a website that had the rules.
Yeah, I don't think we got it. Someone does not. I don't think we have the original. I have it as an English translation from the original. That's from 2013. This game is over 12 years old. Isn't that crazy?
It's well.
By the way, someone did an English translation. Note: when throwing a dice, you should try to re-roll dice already in the arena so they change numbers and show the same number as another dice. To help with this, before each of your throw, you may rearrange the dice already in the arena, provided you don't change the number that is face up. You cannot stack the dice or place them so they are not flat. That's what I remember the original rules to be. That's an English translation, though. It's fine. They streamlined it. So now I know that I don't need to play with that rule anymore. I haven't played that game in years.
I've never played.
It's a lot.
Really?
Of fun. It's a stupid fun. It's just ridiculous. So
every single time people brings it out, you're like, "Do you want to play Strike?" You're like, "Nah, I don't want to play Strike."
No, but
like, I'll just play it. And then you play it once, you're like, "Oh!"
You're like, "Let's play it again." Yeah.
Yeah.
So when that came out, I guess it was 2013. Chatty Boy went to Essen, and he was mocking Ravensburger. I'm like, he goes, "Yeah, Ravensburger had this dice game where you just like throw dice in a tub or a pool, and try to knock other dice over." And I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't sound very fun." And he goes, "Yeah, it was not fun." I'm like, okay. And then I never thought about it again until like 10 years later when I actually played the game, and it's like, it's amazing. So that goes to show you the initial impressions are not strong. Okay.
Anyway, what else did I play when I was there? I played I played a few games of Last Spike, which is a really, really good train theme game of
the original one or
the Columbia Games one that had the nice
is there a reprint?
Blocks.
No, the Columbia Games one is the reprint.
The Winsome Games one did not have the wooden blocks.
Oh yeah, the wooden blocks are not. You have to play with the wooden blocks.
So I played that. That's a fun game. And that was another game that nobody knew existed. I I made some people play Santiago, and they really enjoyed it, but they thought it was too cutthroat. But then these same people went and played like games where the whole game was about screwing each other over the entire time. But that was fine. It was just I think it was maybe they thought Santiago was too thinky cutthroat. I mean, like that was
It is kind of thinky.
thinky cutthroat. But yeah, Santiago was just a great game. I wanted to get a game of Campaign Trail going, but I decided against it because one of the rules of the thing was they beat the no politics hammer on the day, and there were
I remember playing that game with you.
Yeah. I remember you getting so mad about that card, that last card, where just the screw you card.
Right,
You were like,
the
if
fuck
I
you
owned
card.
this game, I would burn that card. It wouldn't exist in my game.
Because it was a stupid card.
Well, I remember we were playing that the one time and we were playing it and you're like, well, I'm pretty sure one of you held on to this card the entire game, but I'm going to fly to California. Oh, no, you're not.
Yep. Just a total fuck you card. So, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, but we didn't play that because again, it was like a no politics weekend, and I'm absolutely sure that people would not be able to contain themselves from making political comments, so we ended up putting that away.
Yeah.
Whatchamadig, Thunder Road was played several times. I did not get on any of the plays. I played that like the 2 or 3 times I'm interested in playing it. It's fun, but
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
it's just so I don't know what the word is. I don't know. It's just beat the shit out of the person that's in the lead, So you hang out in the middle and you gun for your chance.
Bucket of crabs game.
Yeah, bucket of crabs game. You never and if you're the semi, everybody's just gonna target you and blow you up because you're too powerful. So then the semi gets blown up and then you're like out. Anyway, let's see. Played a couple games of Foundations of Rome. I mean, games. I mean, obviously the game it's good. It's
I put my copy in the library because I don't think I need that box anymore in my house. Like I don't think we're gonna play it again. So
well, and then you can
just this
get that
gigantically stupid huge box.
And you can get Foundations of Metropolis, which is functionally the same game with a few changes, and it's just a normal size box.
Yeah.
So you don't have to play with all the glitz and whatever. And when somebody brought that out, they were like, "What is this?" And they couldn't believe and they like more than a few people, dropped $300-400. You went to
Buy
they're
the
like
secondhand version.
no, like Arcane Wonders has it on there.
Oh, is it 300, 400 now?
Yeah, 3 or 4. They have copies of the Super Wooby, and they paid for it. I played some of those.
It's an impressive looking game.
Yeah, I played some of those WizKid pinball games. Those are okay, I guess. I mean, it's just like you said to me, Aldi. They last too long. They take forever.
There's a one ball version of that game that's pretty. Like I want to play that one.
One ball. And we played a Call of Cthulhu adventure one night. That was fun.
Call of Cthulhu?
Yeah, I ran my Call of
RPG?
Cthulhu one.
Wow.
Yeah, I ran my Call of Cthulhu one shot that I wrote.
How long does that take?
I mean, if I want to make it last, I can make it last 8 hours. But I stepped on the gas and it lasted like 3.5. So, got them in, got them crazy, nearly killed them. And they had fun. So, and then God, I mean, it's like I
need to play that with you. I think.
Yeah, I'd have fun. It would be interesting.
I haven't played that since college.
Yeah. Shoot, what did I can't remember now. I just it was one of those things where it was like there were tons of games. It was absolutely one of those things where like they started playing on Thursday. I wasn't there on Thursday. I got there at like 3 o'clock on Friday. They were playing two tables full of Eldritch Horror. Like they were like with all the expansions, they were playing that game. And so I got into one of those games. So I ended up playing all that. We played Unfathomable. Unfathomable was fun.
Oh yeah, I was wondering if
And then I had to explain to them that it was based on Battlestar Galactica, and they had no idea that game existed. I was just like, that's
Oh.
unfortunate because that's one of the best games that was ever made.
PSG is such a good trader mechanic. Like, oh, it's so good.
And Unfathomable uses it, right? It's
Uh-huh.
just not as good.
The problem I had with BSG, and it's fine, I like the game, but when you're a first time player, it's really hard.
Oh
Like,
yeah, for sure.
Because you're like,
Right.
what is all this text? And you're like, why are you looking so hard at those boxes
Yeah.
that don't apply to you technically? Like it's too easy to like suss people out with that. Like,
Right. Yeah.
that first game is always just a throwaway.
Yeah, you definitely need to like introduce people to the game, like to get them used to the concept of like, okay, there's a betrayer somewhere, or there might not be.
Well, there's
But,
a lot
yeah,
of rules with that too, right?
yeah.
Like there was this
so
one guy
actually,
in our group, he's like asking all these questions about the Cylons, and I'm like, why are you asking all
right?
these questions?
Yeah.
Why do you need to know all this stuff?
Suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Okay,
introduced
you're a
my
Cylon.
kids to Shadows over Camelot to kind of get them used to the trader mechanic idea. They really liked it.
That needs to be reprinted. The heck?
Right? Like
I mean,
it's a really good
hundreds
game.
it's hundreds of dollars, and it's still a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Days of Wonder.
I love trader mechanic games. Like they're so much fun.
Yeah.
I mostly like them.
Well, you have to have the right group to play them with.
Sure.
Like if you don't have the right group to play them with, then they suck because then it's just like, oh, why are we doing this? Everyone's angry.
You know what, the Vikings?
Ah.
We'll win one of these days.
Did you guys hear a commotion before he disappeared?
No.
The what now?
Oh, the dog and the cat were chasing each other, and the cat ran under where the modem is and just literally sent it flying across the room.
Oh, wow. No, we didn't hear it. Your noise reduction knocked it out. There's a trick taking game that I played that has a trader mechanic that's really good. Now if I can remember the name of it. Maybe it's a Cosmos game. But it's just like a half an hour trick taker, right? With a creator, it doesn't stay. It's outstay its welcome.
Right.
God, what is the name of that game? I'll find it.
No, so I mean, the whole thing with BSG is that like it has some of my absolute favorite memories of like things that happened in games. I still remember the time where I mean, Jason, Chris may or may not remember playing D&D with Jason, but yeah, Jason, it was like he was playing the president lady, and he kept on like saying, it's like, oh, it's like her ability or whatever to like put one card, like the crisis card below, picks two crisis cards and picks one and puts it below.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, wow, this is the weirdest thing. We got two attacks, but this is the better of the two attacks. And we're just like, I don't know. I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a 4 something or 5.
Yeah. And then you're
Right.
like,
oh,
the
they're both terrible. This is the best one.
And then the next time it was like, oh wow, I know you guys are gonna believe me. I mean, this is ridiculous, but I mean, this was the best of the two crises, and it was like, and then that crisis was like a 15 to pass it, and it was like, but every color but red was like good.
Right.
And they're like, well, that's fine. We can just burn a bunch of cards and we can get this. And so it's, I just remember Jason said, well, it looks like you guys have put enough cards in. I mean, obviously you spent a lot. So I'm just going to put one really good card in. And he threw his card in the middle and it flipped over and it was a red 5. And all he could say was, shit.
Yeah, not quite subtle enough.
Yeah, and then I just and I as like the evil admiral lady, I was like, well, sorry, you're getting spaced.
No lies detected.
I'd like you to check out the airlock system that we have, Madam
Right.
President.
Maybe if you could just cycle some of these buttons.
Yes. But that was
Yeah, no, that's well, and that's why I love the trader type games because like either I'll get it and then it's the okay, how do I socially manipulate everyone, or it's the I don't get it, how do I suss out who is it and then convince everyone else, because it's always my brother. when we play these games.
Have you played Don't Mess with Cthulhu?
No, I
Yeah.
haven't played that
That
one.
is the greatest one of those greatest. Like
Okay.
it's two
I'll put that on
teams.
the list.
It's it's like the two cultists versus like 4 or 5 investigators. It's usually like 1 or 2 versus many. And
Okay.
it's great. It's just perfect. Like there's so much. I mean, I've had some amazing games of that thing. This really works.
Shenanigans.
Yeah. Their inside job is, by the way, is the trick taking with a trader mechanic.
Okay.
Like the trader does not have to follow suit,
Hmm.
which is great. But if you get caught, and then you can be, if you're caught, you lose, because even if you win, people can accuse you and be like that you lose.
Gotcha. So is it a trick taking mechanic with like a normal deck
Yeah.
of cards, or is it its own
Nope, it's
special
got
game?
it. No, it's got its own, but it's really
Okay.
it's like a $15, something like that.
Gotcha.
It's really cheap, and it's got a bunch of other stuff in the game that you. I think it does play with a regular deck, maybe, but it's not a regular deck. It feels like it's less cards, but
Okay.
but it has so much stuff in there. You're gonna want to get it.
Nice.
We had some good fun with it. Yeah, $15 on Amazon.
Very cool. Yeah,
Any
no,
other
my
games plans?
Yeah, I mean, so somebody in the comments actually mentioned about BSG that like they said, oh, you should if you get the Cylon card, you should reveal right away. Like you should just
No.
reveal it.
Really?
no.
And the argument is that like if you're playing with 5 people as the one person or whatever, like theoretically you're the only person that is evil at that point, right? Because you have, I mean, chances are, I mean, there's a chance that
Mhm.
both the Cylons are in play at that point. But the sleeper phase, gets you your second Cylon. But so the whole thing about it is that you're better off declaring because you can do more damage on your turns because the turns take so long to progress through, and you're only and if only like, and you can't actually apply the full boot to the neck when you're trying to hide and do. And here's the deal. It's like if you are a Cylon, the best possible thing for you to be is a pilot. It be because you like it is the easiest thing to hide. And you're like, well, I'm out here blasting raider ships. That's what
That's my
I'm
job,
good
right?
at.
My
Yeah, that's
job,
my
right?
job, right? I'll just
Yeah,
fly
throw
over.
me in the brig if I'm in space.
Yeah, I mean, it just and so it's just and you just have that like you can kind of hide the best, right? And it's just um and also you run the risk of like getting hurt, blown up more than anybody else. And it's like, well, I'm in sick bay. I can't do anything, guys. I gotta get out of sick
Mhm.
bay. It's like, sorry, I guess we'll just have to let the Cylons blow us up for a while. I can't get into my
Right? Look at me hobbling to my spaceship.
Yeah, I
Can't
mean,
fly this.
I'm doing the best I can, boys.
Did you ever play Dark Moon?
Yes.
It's not as good.
It's not as good, but it is quicker. It's like an hour.
And Dark
And it
Moon
was
wasn't.
there
was
was
it
a
fun?
Battlestar Galactical. There was a version of it what they called the Battlestar Galactical dice game,
Yes, and that was
PSG dice game.
so because it was made as the dice game first, and then Stronghold said, "Well, this works
Yeah, but
really
they
well,"
can't. Yeah, they can't.
and they signed the game, but they couldn't call it.
No.
You know,
I mean,
and
here's the thing. What does the Battlestar Galactica license cost?
well, now you can't
Like,
get it.
no, of course, but I'm just saying, like at the time, what would it have cost?
It cost a lot
Because
because the show was very popular.
And also Fantasy Flight had it, so it wasn't like you could get it from Fantasy Flight.
maybe.
So Lance,
I feel like licensing is still it's like a black box that people think everything's unobtainable, but now there's like,
Well,
there's a Dungeons and Dragons Mr. Potato Head, like everything's
so
available.
I want Anthony to ask this question, but like perfect example, it's like you don't know until you ask, and a lot of people don't know how to ask. Like
Sure.
like the reason why we're making a Vampire Survivors board game and a RimWorld board game is because Shane was just like, well, what the hell? I'll just send him
You
an
asked.
email.
Yeah. That's what
And
I'm
then
saying.
they were like, okay, let's talk. And you set
There
up a
is a
meeting
license.
and
There is a show called the Licensing Show. I don't know. That's probably not the name of it, but there is a literal show that is all about licensing. So it's not like, people want to sell their stuff. Anyway,
yeah. Well, and I do
board
remember
gamers are just cheap.
It's what they think it's worth though versus
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, you go to the Battlestar Galactica, like, oh, we need $1 million for the thing. I'm like, okay, well,
right.
good.
So if you don't know,
Talk to you later. But if it's 100,000, like, the numbers at some point might make sense depending on the level of,
but here's
like,
the
I don't need all the actors.
But here's the thing: if like when Hasbro or Mattel or whoever back in the day would put out the crappy licensed game, they'd sell whatever hundreds of thousands and millions of copies because it was everywhere. So yeah, people were giving the license away, or But now you turn around and go, yeah, well, how many games are you gonna make? I don't know, like 30,000 maybe, like 30,000, like.
I mean, I look at a license that doesn't make any money, like Battlestar Galactica, let's say.
Right.
Like what
You
what
have
is
to make
what is
some money.
Battlestar Galactica right now? What is the hot Battlestar Galactica thing? Nothing that I know of. Maybe a toy. You can go say, hey, I want to make a game, and you want 50 grand or whatever. I don't even know whatever the numbers are. What I'm making stuff up. Anyway, whatever.
So Lance,
Yeah,
about being a
Because I do
Cylon.
think board games need more licensing.
So being a Cylon, when I used to play the game with a new group, and I was a Cylon, I would do the same move every single time. I'd go to put my card in the thing and accidentally flip it over and play like a really high number for what was needed.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Oh, he can't be the Cylon.
Whoops. Oh, Anthony put in a big number for this one. He's good.
Yep. Social engineering.
Well, I played one of the best tower defense games I think I've ever played.
And it
Called
was
Fate Defenders of Grimheim. I think it's called Defenders of Grimheim. It's got a weird name. It's called Fate. But
got the Undead Viking seal of approval.
yeah, it's so good. Like, it's one of the best. Like, it's an overwhelming forces coming at you. You have a character that starts with nothing. And then you start getting leveled up and you start getting more powerful. You get all these, you go on quests to get items, which is super fun. Like, you're struggling with like fighting monsters versus like, I need to go to quest to find my sword. That kind of, dilemma. And it's by what's the name of that company? They make Terraforming Mars, which I cannot remember the name of that company.
Frixic?
Is it Frixelis?
Games is what it says. According to Kickstarter, it's Frix Games.
Frix Games, yeah. Yeah, it's one of the Frixelis brothers. But it's good. And I was skeptical because I'm like, there's so many of these games, like dudes on a board, there's all like the dime a dozen. But we really liked it. And it's got like epic monsters that are like, harder to kill and do more damage to you and stuff. And it's just it's a neat system. It's frictionless, right? You don't have to like worry about like a lot of rules. Like, if you want to do something, you can do it. That's mostly like how it works. And what else did I play? I played Craftwagon, the new one, which is good. Still good. If you like the it's not a rondel, like action track, time track, where you move as far forward as you want on the board, but then you don't get a turn until everybody passes you. That's very good. And then you're juggling like 4 different things, like selling cars or racing a car or building engines or whatever, like all that kind of stuff. And I just lost terribly. I thought I could not get my motor running, for them, pun intended. Like, it's one of those things where I'm all right, I'm gonna jump forward to get my thing I need, but then you lose so many turns that it's just like you're struggling to like keep up in the game. I don't know. All their stuff was just, when someone just like, the thing they don't do is they're still good at, You know, like normally the thing you don't do in that game is, you know, some people are like, you can't be good at everything. Well, this guy, he was good at racing and he was good at making cars. And so it was like, no matter what I did, everything he did was like max value. I couldn't catch him. So, but if you have not played that game, it's worth tracking down. It is also old. I feel old. Like I was like, oh, Craftwagon, that just came out, right?
The Relentless March of
The
Time.
original. Yeah, the original version came out in 2015, but it's 10 years ago, by the way. We were like, oh, didn't it come out like a couple of years ago? Like our concepts of time is just not there anymore. But the new version's from 2024. It came out last year. It's like an updated version. It's really nice. Lots of cool pieces and stuff. Anyway, that's what I played.
I've been
But
playing the new Path of Exile.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Is it launched yet? Is it full 1.0 now, or is it?
no.
It's in early access.
Yeah, Path of Exile 2 is in early access. It needs a lot of work. I really like the bones of the game, but it needs all the polish that like Path of Exile 1 got over the past 10 years. But what's really cool about Path of Exile 1 is they released a new like event because the community was so irate that there hadn't been any
They're
updates.
all like, oh, you're working on all PoE 2. Yeah.
Right, yeah. You took all the developers away, like what the hell? You said you weren't gonna do that. So basically the event they released was they did 19 brand new ascendancies where it's just like we had these as ideas, we don't know if they're balanced, just go nuts.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's
That's
just
cool that they're still doing it. They didn't
yeah,
abandon
for sure.
it.
Yeah, no,
And that's still free to play, right? Like
yep, still free to play. I think PoE 2, I don't know if you have to pay $30 for the early access key anymore.
I think you did have to buy like at least
some
of their in-game currency.
Like you either had to spend $30 to buy the early access key, which also gave you points to spend in the game for like microtransactions stuff, or if you had like if your transaction history was like I think it's like $600 that you had spent in PoE 1, like you automatically got an access key. But yeah, it's
I dumped my 30 I think it was $20 or something like that. It wasn't that much. It wasn't 30. I dumped it into this ridiculous portal.
Right.
Like
the art is fantastic.
Yeah. Like a portal, you portal back to town.
Right. Yeah.
It's the time of the game.
Yeah, good. Gotta look good. So
it looked amazing. Like,
right.
Whose portal is that?
So the thing that's crazy about PoE 2 is that I don't know if you messed around with the crossbows at all, but like they're a new weapon type that they introduced, and it feels like you're in a first person shooter. So you have like a whole like reload mechanic, you have like the machine gun variant, you have the shotgun variant, you have the pistol variant. I'm just like, I just want a game built around this. Like just give me a game built around these mechanics. Because with the WASD movement as opposed to mouse click movement,
I switched back to I think, gosh, can't remember. Maybe I was clicking because I couldn't juggle the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the WASD.
Right. Yeah. No. I was using.
I was using mouse.
Yeah, it's actually really well designed for controller play, which is it's really cool. Yeah.
Is it cross-platform?
Yes, I believe PoE 2 is cross-platform. I'm not sure if they've made PoE 1 is not cross-platform. Because I don't think they can line up the Xbox and PS5 stuff. But yeah, I think they went into PoE 2 saying like, hey, we're gonna make this cross-platform. Yeah. So, but yeah,
I put in like 20. I think I put about 20 hours, and I kind of just I got to a point where it's like, this is hard. I don't know, and I don't have a good group, so I'm just like,
right. Yeah. That's I think their thing with PoE 2 is they're trying to make it easier for people to get into the game, but they're still trying to keep it as a hard game. And I'm not sure how well that's going to work, because like if I want to play Dark Souls, like I'll just go play Dark Souls. I'll go play Elden Ring. I don't necessarily want that in my ARPG. Like I kind of want to like get strong and blast mobs.
I don't mind playing a long boss, but a boss that I'll play for 20 minutes and lose still, like it's basically a shelving moment.
It doesn't feel like it respects your time. So but yeah, like I said, the bones are there. Hopefully they can iterate on it and make it good. But yeah, That's what I'm playing. And then of course, so my kids are old enough now to like really game. So
Okay.
Monster Hunter Wilds comes out tomorrow, and that is probably going to consume us for the next month or so.
I remember playing one of the Monster Hunter games, and I was just like, why do people love this so much? It was just the adoration of that game.
New one
Just
comes out
just
tomorrow.
Yeah.
yeah, it just absolutely
I'm gonna
was
go into it.
beyond my comprehension.
So I bounced off. I initially tried to start playing Monster Hunter. I think back when it was like Monster Hunter Try, and I bounced off it a couple times, and then like for whatever reason, eventually it stuck, and I was like, I kind of got the core gameplay loop and mechanic, and I was like, oh, this is actually like really really cool because it's basically you have to learn what the monsters do. Like it's not going to hold your hand and be like, oh, here's the flashing weak point. It's like you have to learn how the monsters act and how they behave. And if you overstep, the monsters will punish you. Like you can't just go full aggro, and attack these things because they'll just be like, they're way bigger than you. So yeah, I understand why people bounce off it, but like if you do get the gameplay loop, like there's a lot of cool stuff in it.
Yeah, I remember the last one I got. I don't know. It was a few years ago, 5 or 6, I'm guessing. And I remember
Around forever.
Yeah.
I
I
bought
remember,
it. And then I brought it home and I played it for like an hour, and that was when my GameStop had you don't like a game, bring it back. We'll give you some
right.
credit. And I was like, and you can fucking have this back. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It
a
doesn't.
book.
Yeah, the initial the learning curve on that game is high.
Oh yeah, it's super high. Like I'm sure you've all seen the meme where it's like, I think it originally started as a Dwarf Fortress meme where it's like the giant cliff, and then you have the people like walking down to the other side. But yeah, like I said, I bounced off it a bunch. But the one I really got into was I think it was for the 3DS, and like I would just play it constantly on plane flights because I was for team trips and then doing media appearances at eventual points, like 4 hours across the country. All right, well, guess I'm gonna hunt some monsters. And yeah, it's yeah.
First version was PS2 in 2004.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, no, the core gameplay loop is actually really cool because you do have to pay attention to a bunch of small details that aren't really like they're not obvious at first, right? So like if a monster uses fire, you probably want to make a set of armor that has high fire resistance. So then that way, all of a sudden that fireball that's chunking you for 2/3 of your health, well, now it's only like an eighth of your health. And it's like, okay, it hits me and I can still keep going versus, oh crap, like I'm instantly dying, I gotta chug potions. So I will say in the past couple iterations of the game, they've done a very good job of making it easier to kind of like get into the game, which had been a problem for a long time. Like for a very long time, Monster Hunter was either you get it or you don't, and if you don't get it, they're like, we're not interested in having you. So I do like that they've made it more accessible for people.
fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, me and my kids are going to be monster hunting. It's gonna be good times.
Everybody's gonna get into it. That's cool.
Yeah, it's
Everybody was
I'm excited to try it. I was hoping it was coming out today,
fighting.
but today I actually got sidetracked with a load of problems, with Board Game Geek problems.
Well, quit
Talked
bragging.
with Lance about it before. I'm not bragging.
Well, I'm just so important.
You guys wouldn't understand.
You have no
it was
idea
only supposed to take 5 minutes, and then it
how
just
heavy the
all day.
crown is.
Right?
That rests upon my troubled brow. No, it sucks. I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
So, like,
Believe me, when the alarms start going off, it's a big alarm. Like it's hundreds of alarms, not just one.
Right. Well, I mean, because at this point, right, like everything technically like should be running smoothly, right?
Yeah. We were upgrading a thing and then we backed it out. We're like, oh, we can't.
Yeah.
We went too far. Like
right.
We upgraded a system that basically needed another system to be upgraded, which a cascading upgrade. Which like I'm not weren't prepared for that. So I backed it all out. But then we deployed the backed version, and then it accidentally deployed the incompatible version, if that makes sense.
Oof.
And that's just like, and then you're like, oh no, the whole site's down.
Right.
Right. And then we're like scrambling to make that, like, what did we do? You know, we're like, that should not have happened. How did this happen? And you have to like go through the details of like,
Right. Databases are unhappy. We need to make them happy.
yeah,
again.
it was basically, it was like one of the databases was like, yeah, we upgraded a library on on the web server that basically made it break everything.
Yeah.
But we didn't think we did that, that was the trick.
Yep.
We thought we undid it all. We did not. Well, we did, but we deployed the new version instead of the old version. Anyway,
It's always exciting.
once we figured out the problem, it was quickly restored, but it was at least an hour down.
Yeah.
We had to go into like maintenance mode and all that. We don't, usually maintenance mode is like a whole nother step of fun. You have to reconfigure our load balancers and all that fun stuff. Anyway.
Well, let's so here let's like let's play like a quick game of I never. I never have been arrested at a town hall meeting.
Hold up. Point of order, not a town hall, a city council meeting.
City council meeting.
Allow me to restate my. I have never been arrested at a city council meeting.
Well, what's wrong with you?
Hands up.
So funny story. My high school friend, who I haven't talked to in 30 years, she posted your video.
Oh, geez.
I was like, oh, wow, this is a big deal. Someone who I haven't talked to in 30 years and like posted on Facebook.
No, obviously I have questions, but I wanted to say
I tagged you, but you probably, do you check Facebook? You don't do Facebook.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, the last time I
was on Facebook was for Mafia Wars, which is back in
really? Oh my god, that's when people play
like
games on Facebook. Do people play games on Facebook anymore? I don't think they do.
I don't think they do
anymore.
Oh, it's basically dead.
No, my favorite thing about when I saw that, like, I don't know, it was some news. I don't know if it was who exactly was interviewing you, but I remember you basically showed up for some like big news interview looking exactly like you're looking now with big giant gaming headphones on.
Same spot, same headphones.
Yeah, just not giving a fuck. Just like, yeah, no. These guys are fucking
that's my brand.
Yeah. So yeah.
Did you get zip tied?
No, they put the actual metal cuffs on me.
Oh, real handcuffs. Oh, wow.
Yep. Yeah, it was probably the most excitement HBPD has seen in quite a while at a city council meeting.
Oh, yeah.
They had like 3 cops there just waiting.
They were on you in a minute.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, so that actually speaks to like how our city council views our community, is that like they know what they're doing is really unpopular. And I don't know if you can tell from the video, but the way they've set up kind of the podium that people speak from and how you approach it is like very hostile. Like it's very much like you're in your pen, you come give your statement, and then you go back. And with the previous city council, back when we had 3 Democratic members on it, the podium was more to the left, and it was like you were half speaking to the city council. Well, no, I mean, like,
depends which way you're facing.
It is a good, sort of metaphor, but it is the literal truth. Like, it was more to the left side of the room, and you were speaking half to the city council and kind of like half to the people in the seating area. So it felt more like welcoming, and you were a part of the community, and you were speaking to everyone at once. So yeah, our city council is just, they have problems. We need to fix them. I don't know how
they were elected officials.
Is that an elected position, or is it a non?
Yeah. So the funky thing about Huntington Beach is all the cities around us, they have precincts, right? So you have a certain amount of people in a precinct, and then whoever wins the vote in the precinct, like they get that council seat. Huntington Beach deliberately set up their voting system so that it's the top 3 or 4 vote getters, depending on the year. They're the ones who get the seats. And because we have a couple big mega churches in our city, like they just
What
shove
do you mean as
votes
far as
towards
grades
the,
or what?
the Republican candidates.
How
And it makes it really hard to run against them because they also get a bunch of money coming in from out of state.
how the good weight rooms are, playing
Oh.
travel times.
Gotcha.
Some conversation.
Patriots got last.
Hey, look, that's Chris Cooley, former Viking. My son plays football. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You going to bed?
Soon.
All right, give me up. All right. Love you, buddy.
So, but yeah, our like that's one of the big problems with our city council is that like if we went to precinct voting, it would be a lot more representative of the community as a whole. But as it is, dude, like so to give you a sense of scale of what our last election was like, the two top vote getting Democratic candidates who lost, they raised $260,000 and $200,000 respectively for their races, and this is for a city council race. Like
Big
it's
money.
it's yeah, like it's ridiculous the amount of money that is being shoved in here.
I like how you if did you I don't know if I was my ears are playing tricks on me, but did you say I'm not resisting at one point or something?
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah, no. Well, so I said, let's see. So I went up. So basically, I gave my speech. Said, I'm going to engage in the time-honored American tradition of civil disobedience, which I'm still super upset about the fact that I freaking like flubbed I had a pause in there, right, where you can tell like I'm looking for the word to say it. It eats at me every time because I'm, God damn it, you could have been smoother when saying that.
It didn't matter.
But
we understood.
Yeah. So anyway, so I go up, I knew the cops were going to be on me quick because they're
because you're not allowed to approach them because it's like you're at the pharmacy or what?
Well, so there's nothing posted. Like there's no sign saying like you can't approach the city council, but they've made it very clear, by the architecture that like they want you to stay in your space. And I was like, well, you know what? I don't think I'm going to stay in my space. I think I'm going to stand here and peacefully show that like this is not okay. And so felt the cop coming up behind me. Immediately had my hands at my side. And when I felt him come up, put my hands behind my back because, obviously you don't want to give them any excuse to escalate stuff. And again, the point is not to threaten anyone. The point is to say like, this is so important to me that I'm willing to, step up here and potentially break the law. And told the cop, hey, I'm going to go limp. So he took me down to the ground. The rest of the cops piled in. When I was on the ground, I was like, I was yelling out for the chamber to hear. I'm like, I really don't want to be here. Like this is not how I wanted.
Oh yeah, they didn't play any of that.
Night. Yeah, no, it's well. So the acoustics there, like if it's not on the
if it's not on the amp
mic,
you're not going to hear anything.
Yeah, exactly. Complied with everything the cops said. They flipped me over. They're like, hey, are you gonna walk out of here? And I'm just like, no, you're gonna have to carry me. Like again, I'm not trying to make your lives miserable, but I'm also not gonna comply, right? Like this is civil disobedience. Like that's the whole point. So they carried me out. Once outside the room, I was like, okay, yeah, you can put me down. I'll walk from here. Because at that point, again, like there's there's no reason to keep making the cops' lives miserable. Then walked me across the plaza. The jail's like right across the plaza that the city center is in. So it was like a 30-second minute walk. Did the initial search, put me in a cell. Detention officials made it seem like it was going to be a real quick, like in and out. They'd get me booked like an hour at most. They told my wife the same thing when she called. I was in my cell for I think either 2 to 2.5 hours before they finally charged me with something. And I'm pretty sure someone from the council made a call to make sure that they charged me with something. Eventually got out an hour and a half or so after that. So I spent about 4 hours and 15 minutes in the jail. Released me on my own recognizance, gave me a slip. They charged me with a misdemeanor disturbing an assembly, and I have a court date in April. I have no idea what the penalties for that might be. I don't know if it's fine. I don't know if it's jail time. So I guess we'll find out in April.
Who's representing you?
Currently looking through a couple different options. I've had two former city council members recommend lawyers to me, both of whom have successfully sued the city before. And then I have a friend of mine who he helped me file an amicus brief to the Supreme Court back when I was speaking out on LGBTQ rights. And he has a friend that works as like a hotshot like trial attorney down in San Diego. And he said that she would probably take it on pro bono. So waiting to hear back from her. And then yeah, just trying to figure out like, okay, what's the next steps from there? Because honestly, like if the city was smart, or if the council was smart, they would just drop the charges and like just make the circus go away. Like they really have no reason to, you know, prolong this, right? But
Well,
I
maybe
don't
they
know
just
if
really don't like you.
yeah, again, that's a very valid point. They may not like me at all. So yeah, I'm trying to be prepared for the worst case scenario to where like, okay, yeah, if they want this fight, well, you know, I'm not gonna stop. Like it's okay, well, we're just gonna keep going. And honestly, like the best thing they could have done when I walked up to the front of the you know where they were seated, if they had just let me stand there, I would have looked like a dipshit. Right? Like, who's this asshole just standing here disrupting the council proceedings? Like, you know, it's just like, okay, well then what do you do next? And so, but I was fairly confident that, you know, they were gonna have the cops on me right away. Because again, what they're doing is really unpopular with the community of Huntington Beach. Like they know people don't like what they're doing, especially with the library. And it's super frustrating because a city council isn't supposed to work that way. Like you're supposed to represent everyone in your community. And the community has made it very clear they don't want the city council messing with the library. I mean, this has been going on for like 2.5 years. This wasn't a one-time thing for me. Like I've been at previous city council meetings and I've been speaking out against what they're trying to do to the library, along with a whole lot of other people in our community. And it sucks because that's not how government's supposed to work.
What are
Who are
they doing
you?
in the library?
Sorry, say that again.
What are they doing to the library?
Okay,
What's going on in the library?
so
Don't
it
you read
initially
the
started.
articles, Scott?
RTFM,
Do your
I only
homework.
saw the video.
RTFM.
I saw the video. Was there an
But
article? I didn't see any articles, but
no, there's been a bunch of articles, but
okay.
so basically where it started, one of our council members, Gracie Vandermark, she has issues, but so she started it with an attempt to ban a bunch of books from the children's section in the library because she said these are inappropriate books for kids. Surprise, surprise, all the books were LGBTQ books. And you know, she's like, these need to go away. And the community is like, well, that's a book ban, and we don't like that. So then her next attempt was to establish an oversight panel of, I think it was like 21 or 23 people who would go through all the content in the library and determine which books were appropriate. And the ones that weren't appropriate would go in their own special room that, you know, would be closed off unless you had, you know, special access. And the community is like, well, that's just a book ban. Like you're still trying to ban books. And so at that point, Protect HB, which is kind of like the local grassroots, you know, keep your hands off our library movement. That's when they started organizing, and you know, they got a petition together. I think we got over like 15 or 16,000 signatures. It was well over what we needed, you know, to bring this to a ballot measure. And it essentially said, we don't want this panel. Like this should not be in the city's municipal code. So then the next attempt they made was they wanted to privatize the library. They're like, oh, the library's not being run well. We need to have it run by this private organization that has had a history of just gutting libraries. And again, the community is like, well, no, that's not okay. Now you're trying to kill the library. So we started another petition, got over 15, 16,000 signatures. And people were like, yeah, this is not okay. So both of those petitions, by the way, were on the agenda at the same meeting that I got arrested at. And the council is currently trying to ignore them. They're trying to pretend that these petitions don't exist and that they don't have to follow the law and actually like implement them. Because the second petition was, okay, if you try to privatize the library, it needs to go to a public vote. Like everyone in the entire city has to have a vote on this, so that way, because everyone here loves the library, like it's a great library, and they don't want the council to mess with it. So those were the first three things they tried to do, and then the fourth one was the stupid plaque, and that's the one where I got arrested because the previous the week before, the Library Commission Council, they were the ones who were in charge of like sending the plaque to the city council for approval. And I was at that meeting, and over 90% of the people there were like, not only is this plaque ugly as hell, we don't want MAGA to be front and center on our public library. I mean, it was overwhelming, the amount of negative feedback. And the Library Planning Commission didn't even bother debating it. They just rubber stamped it and sent it to the council. And at that point, I was like, okay, well, I see how this is going. and based on my previous interactions with the council, I know they're not going to listen to the community. So that was where it was like, okay, well, Huntington Beach is kind of a microcosm of what MAGA means in the country, in that they don't care about their community. All they care about is getting power for themselves, trying to move higher up into Trump's orbit, and then just abusing their power however they want. And so, we're seeing that play out on a local scale here. We're seeing it play out on a national scale across our country. And I think that's partly why it resonated so much with people, is that they can relate to what's going on, and that like your local city council government is supposed to be about the community. Our national federal government is supposed to be about us as a country. Like, it's supposed to help as many people as possible, and that's not what's going on. So yeah, I'll step off my soapbox.
Says you. I mean,
Yeah, says
what do you know?
Yeah. What would I know? History and poli-sci major.
Oh, come on. You kicked a football for a living. So I mean,
I flogged the pigskins to pay my way.
Yes.
So, but yeah, and like at the end of the day, like what I want people to really understand is that like and I think I said this before the show started, like, regardless of your political affiliation, as American citizens, we have to be able to come together and say no kings. Like, that is what this country is based on. And I mean, you can be right wing, you can be left wing, you can be centrist, you can be independent, but at the end of the day, we fought a war to say, no, we will not be ruled by a king. We will not be ruled by a tyrant. And this Trump administration is trying to establish him as a king. And it fucking sucks. And I don't want that to happen to this country.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not gonna get. I mean, I when I was trying to, basically begging you to show up tonight, I was like, yeah, should I just try to, just for the funsies of it, like, do the devil's advocate and try to play the moderate? And
right.
I mean, I can't even. I mean,
right? Like
it's
because that's the thing. Like normally, okay, yeah, we can disagree on what our budget should be going towards. Like we can disagree on, okay, what's the appropriate amount for healthcare, or for how much we should pay teachers. Like, we can disagree on what's our level of involvement in foreign affairs. Like, all of those are conversations we can have. What we can't disagree on is, should people be allowed to exist, which is what's happening with the trans community. And as American citizens, can we have a king? Which, no, absolutely not. You cannot be an American citizen and have a king. Those two things cannot coexist in the same space.
Yeah, I mean, and then it's just you have dirtbags, just saying and doing the most ludicrous bullshit. And I will, like when that idiot in New Mexico wanted to, like, say it was okay if you posted a swastika flag because it was historical, but you couldn't post a rainbow flag, because
right,
and it was just kind of like. And that was like one of those memes where, it was like, "Hey America, how you doing?" And then like they post that, and then the guy goes, "Jesus fucking Christ!"
right? Like, what the hell?
But I mean, it's one of those things where I'm pretty sure there have been Nimrods like that have tried to do that shit before. It's just and thankfully we have a fucking searchlight on that shit, and we're calling it out for the bullshit that it is. I think the problem is that it's I mean, they're just like Trump passed like an executive order or something to which again, executive orders don't really do much. I mean, but he
Yeah.
tried, like the guy that um that was taking him to trial over his court cases. Like they basically he filed an executive order. I forget what it is, but the counsel that he has hired, it's made him illegal for them to represent him or something like that. It's like an executive order specifically written for the desired purpose of trying to prevent the guy that he is going to try to sue or something can't hire counsel to defend himself
Right?
from the charges.
It's like that's not how our government works.
And it's just,
Like,
and you get the impression
fundamentally.
that, yeah, I mean, it's just,
Yeah,
I mean, you just kind of hope that at some point somebody like just says, okay, you're a moron, and we're just gonna move on now.
It's
'cause-
so the big problem right now is the fact that Congress is ceding its power to the executive branch, because a competent Congress does not give power to the executive branch, because it's supposed to be co-equal branches of government, right? Like Congress controls the power of the purse. That's their check upon the executive. The judicial branch controls the laws. That's their check upon Congress and the executive. The executive controls the military. That's potentially their check upon Congress and the judicial branch. And our founders did, like, they knew the dangers of having a king. Like they knew the dangers of having a tyrant in charge, which is why they made 3 co-equal branches of government. And the fact that our Republican legislators are doing nothing to stop an unchecked executive branch, and our Democratic officials are doing nothing to make people aware of how serious this is. It's like at this point, we only have 2 branches of government. We have the executive and we have the judicial. And that's not a stable form of government, because when the judicial says, hey, you can't do that, there are laws against that, and then the executive says, well, I have the military. Well, how is the judicial supposed to enforce that? Like they need to have Congress on their side to also be like, well, you can't pay the military, so good luck enforcing it. But currently that's not the case, and it's a really scary thing for our country.
Yeah, and then we have a South African Nazi. Yes.
Yeah, that fucking guy. No one elected Elon Musk. I didn't vote for him. I don't know anyone who voted for him. Why is he giving cabinet meetings? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, because he gave whatever $417 million or whatever to the fund to try to get somebody reelected. So
Which is a rounding error compared to his actual wealth. Like, I don't think people understand that. Like, he bought our government for literally like pulling a quarter out of his pocket. Like, it's disgusting.
yeah, it is
How much was it?
I forget
like
how
200
much
million.
It's like 200 to 400 million was the total amount he contributed. And I mean, you could also probably lump in whatever he spent to buy Twitter, because I mean, he essentially turned that into an effective propaganda arm.
well, thank God. Well, no, he's on Truth Social now or whatever. Like,
290 million.
I also partially wonder if this is like sort of a payback. If Elon Musk was like, you need to really lean into this crypto thing, because all that money that flew in from crypto, somebody was the one who was like, you really need to fucking lean into this. And I wonder if maybe it was Elon Musk talking to him about it,
Well,
Getting his
so
ear.
he desperately needs to get bailed out, because the entirety of his wealth is based on Tesla and Tesla stock shares, which is why the whole Tesla takedown movement is doing a bunch of damage to him, because every other purchase that he's done has been a loan against the value of his Tesla shares. So if we can crash Tesla, like all of a sudden his bills start coming due, and assuming he doesn't have the power of the federal government and military behind him, that will stop him, because he just won't have any money left. The problem is, currently he has the power of the federal government, and I don't know yet the military, but like he's in a position where he can effectively create policy to pay himself, and you're already seeing that happen. both with the the $400 million contract from the State Department to buy Cybertrucks as armored vehicles. Why the fuck would you want a Cybertruck as an armored vehicle? Like that's just stupid. As well as the fact that he's trying to go after NASA, and I think today, it was either today or yesterday, there was a report that they're making it so the FAA has to use a Starlink contract, to upgrade their systems.
Dude, being able to lower the truck, that's where it's at. That's what makes it so. No, I'm not joking. Like, that's actually, like, I cannot even fathom how functional that would be for so many things that I've done in the past. Like, no joke at all. Unloading sand, putting in four-wheelers, like lawnmowers, like just the amount of effort. I mean, I don't know if you're a truck owner yourself, but like I got a Ram, and man, being able to fucking lower that would, I would be able to get so much done so much quicker by myself. Unloading a refrigerator, I fucking fucked up my back doing that. Like, it's no, I'm just serious. Like, it is like, I think it's very undervalued, that feature. Everybody's gonna start copying it. So it's gonna, it's gonna not be as novel, but man, it's fucking amazing.
So here's the thing though, like because I used to have a Dodge 1500, and they used to make trucks where you could actually use the truck bed because the truck wasn't automatically lifted like 5 to 6 inches. Like, it was a work vehicle, which meant the bed was low enough to where you could put things in and bring them out and not strain your back. But if you look at modern day trucks, they're built like tanks because the America crowd wants their giant tank vehicles, and it's like, well, that's not a work vehicle. Like, that's you wanting, like, to just intimidate other people on the road.
It's like 75% of those people are some ridiculous statistic. Have never hauled anything in it. Like,
right? Yeah, exactly. like I have a neighbor across the street who has he has like a lifted Chevrolet. I think it's like Silverado, like Super Crew Cab or some shit like that. And I think he has like his own personal like woodworking business in his garage. And I have never seen him put anything in his truck. Like, I've never seen that truck transport anything, and it is flawless. Like, every time I look at it, like, there's no scrapes on it. There's no dirt on the underside. It's just like, okay, yeah, that's not a work vehicle. That's a
it adds an inch to your penis, man. That's what it does. Big old truck.
I forget where I heard it from, but someone called it their emotional support truck.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say my 2005 Dodge Dakota doesn't add any measurable girth to my wiener. I'm just gonna put that out.
Whoa, do you have the extended cab?
That's I do not.
There you go. That's why.
But you could probably haul a bunch of stuff in it because it's a useful vehicle.
Yeah.
I built a beach with my truck. I love it.
Yep. So yeah,
built a what?
A beach.
A beach.
Oh, multiple thousand pounds of sand.
Oh. Why'd you build a beach?
For my kids. Okay. I got a little lake that my granny got us into. And just started, it was like, yeah, we got water here. I'm gonna make a beach.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you want a beach? Beaches are awesome. So yeah, it's just unfortunate.
So did your wife know that you were gonna do this?
Kind of. Like, I had told her I'm probably gonna get arrested at the next meeting. And she's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure you will. Right. Yeah. So but
don't wait up.
Right. Like when I was going to the meeting, I was kind of like 70-30 in terms of like, actually, like, am I gonna do this? Am I not gonna do it? And then our current mayor gave this whole speech on like, we're going to be enforcing the rules of decorum, and you better watch what you say. And then he's like, and we're only going to do 1 minute for comment because we have too many people. And only 50 people had signed up for comment. And I've been at meetings where there's been over 100 people signed up for comment, and they gave us the full 3 minutes. So at that point, I was just like, okay, well, clearly you don't want to listen to what the community has to say. So, yep, guess I'm going to do it.
Was he the one that yelled out when you...
Yes, he's the one in the Hawaiian shirt. He's like, get him.
Yeah, get him.
Yep. He's a former cop. Yeah. So yeah, it's our city council has issues.
Are you going to run for office?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Figure that out.
I've had
Do
I've-
it! Do
yeah,
it! Do
I've-
it!
I've
Chris
had
wants
so
to play
many
video games,
people.
man. He wants to play
I
video
know,
games.
like that's the whole point. I don't.
That's going to cut into the video game time.
Right? Like I
What
don't
what
want
about
to
Monster
be doing
Hunter?
this stuff. I know. I need to mon hunt. Like this is.
You sound like
what I
John
want to-
Carpenter. They ask him all the time, "Why don't you make any more movies?" And he's like, "Well, I like playing video games too much." That's what he
Right. Like
said.
I was happily retired. Like I didn't want to have to do this, but clearly no one else was doing it, and like clearly our democratic elected officials do not understand the severity of the moment. It's like, okay, well, I can't ask you to do it if I'm not willing to do it myself. So here's the blueprint. Go ahead. Like
Dude.
I've showed you what you need to do.
Like, no bullshit. Like, I know that all these things have run through your head, so I'm just gonna fucking puff up your ego a little bit more, man. But you lean in. No, I'm like, as someone who wants to one day run for local city council, dude. Like, you're fucking ready to pounce on just about any. Like, I don't see why you go local. With you go with your NFL background and what you fucking did to get blackballed out of the fucking league, turn it into a whole fucking movement. Go talk with Colin Kaepernick about some bullshit like that. Like, really, you could run for fucking governor because the pendulum is going to swing real fucking hard, and we need people like you to fucking be there. And you can be the head of a fucking spear. And it's the only question is, how high up the spear do you want to go? Because you have this absolutely once. You're the only person on the planet who can say this. You know, I fucking stood up to the NFL for exactly what I'm fucking here right now, motherfuckers. Like you, like, and I'm sure I'm
You're
saying
writing down
everything
the
you've looked
speech?
into
Maybe a little
fucking
less
mirror,
of
man.
that
You should do
words,
it.
but
Fucking do it, man.
I'm hiring Forrest as my speech guy for sure. But no, like for in all seriousness, like I totally get that. The problem is I don't want to wield power. Like I don't want to tell other people what to do. Like I just want people to be cool to each other. It's like how is that such a hard concept to grasp? Like just let other people live their lives. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do, because the other problem is, like, for as much as terrible as our city council is, like our elected democratic officials in the like House of Reps nearby and in our Senate are doing reasonably well. I don't think our senators are doing very great, but our House of Reps guy, Dave Min, like he's actually a pretty good representative, and like he seems like he gets it. I wish he'd do a little bit more. Like he had a telephone town hall the other day where he's like, yeah, we're trying to find out what Doge does. Like we're there at the buildings, and it like in my head, because it wasn't like open comment, I'm like, but Dave, like that's a government building. You're a government employee. Just push past the people. Like you have a right to be there. And if they arrest you, perfect. They arrest you. Now that's a story. Why aren't they letting congressional representatives inspect and have oversight on what's going on with whatever the fuck it is that Doge is? So like I don't want to take away a job from someone who wants to do that job and is doing a good job with that job. But yeah, like I don't know what the best way forward for me is. All I know is I want to do what's going to be most effective for both the city that I live in as well as the country, because like we really need to turn the page on MAGA, because it's some bad shit.
Well, what if you did something like
whoa,
Andrew?
whoa,
I got an
whoa.
idea that kind of plays into what he said, but go ahead.
Well, I want to say this, frankly, Chris. If you can't win the 2009 NFC Championship game, you have no business.
I have no chance.
No business whatsoever.
Perfect.
Thank
you.
Involved in anything political. If I can't trust you to beat the team blatantly cheating,
right,
to with
now
bounties.
it's an Alaboom.
Yes.
No, but hey, so what I was saying, it sounds like you don't necessarily want to do that, but like what Andrew Yang did after he lost the election, lost in New York City, was he started the Humanity for Yang, where it became like an organization where they pointed out specific people who like, yeah, this is exactly what we need to be doing.
Right.
Like, have you thought about starting like a nonprofit where it's like you're essentially pointing to who you like, and then potentially even changing policies? Because I could give you a recommendation. I'm just a little bit concerned about this, that, the other thing, almost coming to lobbyists, like to a certain extent.
Yeah, no, like, and I've been approached by multiple like local Democratic groups, and I think I'm supposed to have a conversation at some point with David Hogg, the DNC vice chairman, where yeah, again, like I want to figure out what's the best way to make an impact, because like if I don't have the mindset, which I don't think I do, like to be a city council member or to be a congressperson, like I still want to make sure that they're aware that like, hey, Americans, like, we're pissed off right now. Like we are upset right now with the fact that
Well, there's
like
lots that are very happy. What are you talking about?
yeah, there's a vocal minority that's happy until the leopard comes to eat their face. And then they're gonna be
Where
like,
did that saying come from? I mean, leopards eating their face. Where did that come from? Did a leopard ever eat somebody's face for true?
no, it was a comment. I believe the initial one, and I might be wrong. I think it was a political cartoon where it's a bunch of sheep in a field and then a wolf in like a business suit, and the sign, like the political sign in the background was "I'm going to eat you," and and it was the wolf smiling and saying like "Yep," and then I think that transformed into the leopard. I think it transformed into like a Twitter post where it's like
Oh, it's from a tweet.
yeah, yeah. It's,
Yeah, it
it's
says,
someone's like,
I never thought leopards would eat my face. Sobs a woman who voted for the leopards eating people's faces party.
right, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the one. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's very much like that's become part of our cultural lexicon, right? Which is really disturbing when you think about it. Like there should not be a leopards ate my face if you're running a competent government. Like it should be no, we're trying to help the most amount of people possible. But yeah, the whole situation's fucked up. Um,
There's
I'm not happy
a
about
The
that.
timeline is not the current timeline is very dark.
Yeah, it's I would appreciate one of the Marvel universe kind of like let's
Yeah, can
bump
we get
into
a
another
like
timeline,
a sideways?
right?
there is a YouTube channel called Dark Brandon, and there is a leopard that he's like, so this is who I got, and they basically show idiots that have made MAGA YouTube or TikToks, and it's like, let's watch this moron before I eat his face. And
Yep.
if you need catharsis, it is
Right.
enjoyable to watch.
Well, and so the other thing though, like not to be like facetious or like super centrist or whatever. The problem is like we really do need those people to understand that Donald Trump doesn't have their best interest in mind, and like and I don't know how you deprogram someone from being in a cult, because that's essentially what MAGA is at this point. Is that it's very clear that he's never going to have their best interest in mind. And how do we get them to understand that and stop undermining the idea of America as a country? Because without that, they're just going to keep going. People are
You
going
don't.
to stand against it.
Because nobody does on either side. Like nobody wants to look past surface deep except for the vocal minority. Like 80% of people just want to vote and be like, all right, fucking done with this shit. Like
well,
it's an uphill climb. Like because they just life. They don't want to learn that shit, unfortunately.
So
yeah, again, I wish I had the answers.
I've always said, I was like, there are always going to be like things that like you're never going to, where I can understand certain ways. Like if I were somebody that just absolutely 100% saw abortion as murdering a human being, and the idea of it was so just completely and totally like, I can't believe we allow people to murder a human being, because of whatever reason. And they just and I mean I can get to that point where why people would think that way. It's one of the few things I can.
I can empathize with that.
Yeah, and it's just, and so they say, well, and I have to vote to basically prevent the murder of unborn children. That's like the one thing I can get there. Okay, I get it. I mean, you don't have a lot of progressive liberal party people like running under a.
One more potentially. What about road maintenance?
But what?
I'm saying, would that be up in there where you could say, all right, I can see why you go Republican because of road maintenance as well? Does it get
road?
Is that like a 1A as opposed to the one?
Do you think there's a lot of Democrats that are just against road maintenance?
No, I was just saying. You were saying that was the one reason I could be like, all right, Republican. I
Well,
could
I
totally
mean, I
get.
think you're being just weird, but I mean, like, I'm talking about how like there's like there's one thing that people like.
I was joking that there was two
I
things.
mean,
And the
you
second one
could.
was road maintenance.
I got it.
You
You
didn't
can
get
Road
it.
you
maintenance
can
is important.
It was bad, apparently.
you can find. I mean, like you can find liberal progressive. Like I mean, the most
It's
recent candidate for Democratic candidate for president. You can find them that are pro guns. I mean that aren't anti-guns. I mean like she bragged about
yeah,
the fact that like she owns several and
Well,
I mean
most of them
so
aren't
like
anti.
that's like the one thing where you can find where it's like so I get it. I can get why they'll vote for that reason. But for the most part it's just I mean when you try to pry into the reasons behind it, it's usually just these batshit crazy the brown people are coming for our
yeah,
jobs bullshit that
yeah.
they've
It's
just
so I think
Silver.
Wayne in the chat raises a really good point. Is that like a lot of these people like they say yeah they're against abortion, but then they don't do anything to help children. Like they're against healthcare, they're against childcare, they're against contraception. Like they have a certain belief, but then they don't expand that to okay, well if you don't want abortion, you have to make sure that kids are raised in healthy environments and that people who want kids are having kids and people who don't want kids aren't having kids.
well, but
And
that's like, I mean, I understand where he's coming from, and I
like
understand what he's saying, but that is just, but like, I don't. Yes, you're always going to find people that are going to say, "Well, I mean, I say all the time, I think there's too many fucking guns in this fucking country, and we shouldn't have any." But it's just, but I'm also not like actively going out and like trying to find ways to like reduce the amount of number of guns because we just I mean, it's because the idea behind it is just insurmountable. You can say I absolutely
it's
hate
it's it's
the fact
it's
that
not
abortion.
insur- it's
Go
not
ahead.
insurmountable. The problem, a lot of these problems begin with the fact that we allow propaganda to be aired as news. And I'm speaking specifically about Fox News, about Newsmax, and about OANN. Like those are legit propaganda stations. They are not news stations. And if we want to have any chance of
Well, there
healing this
isn't a legitimate
country,
American news station anymore.
it's well no so there's a difference between like a legitimate okay yeah maybe they're slanting one way or the other and stations that just flat out lie because they lie like they don't care about the truth. Like Fox News will take the $800 million hit for lying about voter fraud and then just keep saying it. Whereas stations on the left will be like, okay, we got to be really careful about what we say. We got to make sure things are sourced. And how do you compete with that? You can't compete with stations that just lie, like because the people who are watching it believe the lie and then you tell them well no that's not factually correct but because they saw it on the glowing box in their living room like well no but the man on the TV told me that's the truth, I'm going to believe it, and it's day in and day out. And that was one of the things that happened in Nazi Germany. What was it Goebbels said? It was tell a lie 65,000 times and it becomes the truth. Like that is literally what has happened in our country.
So Wayne says people cannot be against abortion on religious grounds and then forget that religion once that kid is born. Well, I mean, yes, they can. I know you don't want to hear that, and I follow your logic, but all of us at one point in our lives have felt very strongly about one thing, but we've done very little to actually prevent it from happening. We pointed at something and said, that sucks. Oh, this video game is really cool. I should play this.
Go
And
get
we
arrested.
yeah. No, I mean, so I mean, and that's one of the things that I mean, I realize that that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but I mean, and that's fine. I mean, we have lives, right? We have children, we have jobs, we have partners, we have friends, we have our own fucking thing going on. And the ability to take our resources and our time and whatever and apply them towards a problem that we don't like. I mean, when we see people pandering on the sidewalks, we're not looking at that like, oh, that guy, that's great that's happening. But nobody's like, I mean, think of all the people that you see that obviously are homeless, but we're not racing into a grocery store and picking up sandwiches and bringing them out for those people. We just walk right past. I mean, and so what I'm saying here is that, like, yes, people can say, I think abortion is evil, and I'm going to vote for the people that will prevent it from happening. And that is doing something about that, right? I mean, you're like you're because you and that's what we do as well. Like, oh, I really want the homeless and the problem solved. Well, these candidates are they have a problem, have a way to fix that. I'm going to vote for those people because I believe they're going to implement. That's how we speak our mind.
Right.
I don't. I just feel like it's very easy for us to say, well, that person thinks differently than me, and it's like that's bullshit the way they feel because they don't do all this 100% all in bullshit. And I mean, when most of us don't do the 100% bullshit all in for the stuff that we're like super excited and what about. I mean, I feel just as strongly about as Chris does about the stuff that he did. I'm not going to a city council meeting getting arrested. I mean, I
You
don't.
should.
We're
I
born
mean,
of the golden foot, brother.
yeah, I know. I mean, it's just, and I guess it's so easy. I mean, I I've given up many years ago now. I was very moderate. I was like, both sides are kind of shitty, and now when I see that, I hate it. I've progressively and dramatically
Welcome to the
moved
revolution,
left.
Lance.
Yes, I've progressively and dramatically moved left in my mindset, and I fully believe that it was oh Jesus, what's going on, buddy? You scared me.
Good night.
Oh, good night, buddy. All right. Why aren't you in bed? Did you brush your teeth?
Yeah.
All right. Make sure you tell your mother good night. No, and it's it's really easy. And there are firebrands out there that are just fucking MAGA trolls that like you just and now I just block them and I move on with my life. I just I mean I used to engage with them and say you can't be serious. You're a fucking moron. But I mean, but it's not there's no point. There's no point. But there are people out there that like will want to engage in a public discourse about things, and that's fine. I will, but I still not. We're so far apart in the way we feel, um, and and ultimately, it's one of those things. It's like when you say things, and you'll notice that they won't engage on a lot of things that like they know they're like, well, that's kind of shitty, because I really can't like never. Never once in human history have the people that wanted to ban books been the good guys. And you're like, you point that out, and they're just like,
But
let's talk
this
about
time
something
it's
else.
different.
Yeah, no, they won't even engage on that one because they know they know that it's an uphill battle. But what they will engage on is stuff like it's like, why is it such a big deal that you have to send in an email that says 5 things of what you did in the last week? Why I get tracked all the time by my employer. They know exactly where I am all the time, whether I'm peeing, whether I'm. I was like, if you want to give up all your fucking liberty at your job for that, that's fine. It's just, I don't know.
Again, getting back to my original point, though we need to get rid of the propaganda networks that are poisoning those people's minds because that's where it comes from. Like they're no longer concerned about their community. They're concerned about whatever the glowing box tells them they need to hate. Like, and that is what's happening. Like, if I would wager $1,000 if you went up to someone who said, "Oh yeah, trans people are a problem. Like, this we can't have the trans people. Like, they're scaring our children. They're after the women in the locker rooms and the bathrooms." And if you ask them, "Have you ever met a trans person?" I would wager $1,000 that they have never met a trans person, or if they have, they didn't know that person was trans, and they thought they were just another human being. And the whole reason they have that hate is because they have been told to have that hate by a news source that they trust, and they shouldn't trust it because it doesn't have their best interests in mind.
You live on the West Coast, correct?
I do.
Okay.
I have
a question for you.
Sure.
This is a very odd question. I don't think it is offensive in any way, shape, or form. But I have been across the country, as most of us have. I believe the transgender people in general on the West Coast overall consistently will look more attractive than the people on the East Coast.
I mean,
Like across the country. Let me rephrase that. Just across the country.
I don't think it matters what your physical appearance looks like.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
and
I know. I just questioned, just a straight up.
Right.
I just was wondering your opinions on that. Like, but like consistently, because I believe people in general look better over there because you're outside more, you're healthy, you exercise more.
I honestly I don't think it's really a thing. Like I think it because again that goes to whatever your own personal standards of beauty are, right? Like some people like really skinny people, some people like really heavy people, some people like people in between. Like it's ultimately up to the individual what you find aesthetically pleasing. And I think it's just a matter of people need to understand that trans individuals are people just like everyone else. And when you try to erase someone's humanity, like that's the first step towards being evil. Like there is no good that can come from trying to erase someone's humanity, regardless of what they look like, regardless of their sexual orientation, regardless of what they believe in. If you do not see them as a human being, you see them as a thing, then you are now preparing yourself to do evil.
I just know in my limited experience with it, I've seen people generally not be nearly as shitty to transgender people who do look more like the gender
Right.
that they are.
Right, who can pass more as the
Yeah, I'm trying to put this in like the PC
yeah,
way.
yeah, no.
I think there's definitely a correlation
totally get,
between those two.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying for, but again, it shouldn't matter, right?
No,
like,
no, it shouldn't. I just curious.
Yeah, no, it's well, and I mean, I haven't spent a ton of time on the East Coast recently, so I can't.
I meant just all across the country, like Midwest,
right,
all over.
But yeah, like I really do want to emphasize that like it shouldn't come down to what you look like because
Yeah.
Duh.
Like that's duh. Like, oh yeah, we're okay
Right.
with you because you look good. I don't like how you look, so no discrimination.
You're pretty. You can stay.
God, that I can't wait till they somehow talk themselves into that, where the MAGA's like, nope, it's okay because of this. And it's going to be one spearhead of the MAGA party's going to break over and be like, Donald Trump will have some pictures come out from like 20 years ago and be like, yep, here we go. We're all accepting now.
It's going
to blossom. It's going to blossom. That would be the most amazing thing ever if Donald Trump had some old videos, photos that came out, and he just had to pivot so hard. Those videos, they're out there somewhere.
Oh, you mean like a video where he said whoever negotiated this trade agreement is a complete fucking moron, and then it was him,
and it's his.
Yeah, wasn't there the one where he said if you always are going to run for president, be the Republican Party because they're a bunch of fucking
that's
idiots.
That's a fake quote.
Trick.
Unfortunately, it's not real.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah,
fake news.
That's why I asked.
So, but I mean, I think you do raise an important point in that like that gets to the heart of fascism is that a fascist government relies on its populace accepting their lies, right? Like that's the double speak. Like George Orwell, this is literally what 1984 is about, is that the party is always right no matter if it contradicts itself. And we really are starting to see that with this Trump administration and with the people supporting it. And that like he can say whatever he wants and they're going to go along with it because it's not about whether it's true or not, it's whether is this true in the moment. And again, that leads us down some really dangerous paths because that is what fascist governments do.
I was watching a YouTube short about Steve Bannon and the playbook he gave to Trump and they're using now. It's just fucking terrifyingly brilliant. And he was just breaking it down. It's like, you just got to hit them just over and over and over.
Yeah,
you hit them 60 times. They'll try and stop 4 or 5 of them, pinpoint exactly those. You get 55 through, 3 of them they block. You got 57 through. You just got to keep pounding. It's just like, God, that's so intelligent. I wish we would have done that when we were in the position to do that at some point. Like,
well, so that's the thing though, is that strategy relies on lying, Like you have to be willing to lie to people. and,
Yeah, to Steve
and
Bannon. Yeah.
yeah, you can't beat lies with more lies because you're not building something that will last. And if you want people to trust you, you have to tell them the truth.
Well, do you need to lie if you have the absolute power? I mean, you could just say, "Oh, we're just doing it." Like if we have all three and we could just push everything through, like, do you even need to lie? Like, I guess.
So I have some issues with how the Biden administration handled their time in office. Let's just put it that way.
What? Yeah.
They had one job to do, and that was to put Donald Trump in jail, and they failed at that.
I will say,
I
gotta cut him a little bit of slack because I wonder how much power he actually had for the last year. Like, I wonder really what he could have gotten done. Like, because
it doesn't matter about the last year. It should have been right from the get-go. The American people
I agree.
elected to make sure Donald Trump never holds office again because he's a traitor to this country, and the Democratic Party as a whole failed in their messaging because that was not what they were telling the country.
Everything.
If the Democratic Party ever actually pulled off any of the bullshit that they said they were going to do, I mean, it's just they never. I mean, it's just. I mean,
well, I love that the Republicans have this idea of like the Democratic Party is this like, oh, they're going to do all this, they're going to do all this. And meanwhile, the Democratic Party is like, we're going to keep stabbing each other because we don't agree. It's like, God damn it. Like,
well, yeah. And it's just like, oh, I mean, when Bernie had his shot and people were like, and then basically, people were like, well, we're not going to let him win. I mean,
He got Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Ugh.
Let's not be crazy. We're not gonna have that guy be the president.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean,
it's unfortunate.
Queen Hillary had to get her chance because Obama stole it thanks to Joe Biden teaming up with him. So Queen Hillary had to get anointed. We waited 4 years for Queen Hillary. Oh God, it's gonna go down as one of the. Oh God. Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a found footage movie with your camera, Forrest.
Oh, I just auto adjust. I'm cleaning my garage.
Right? But yeah, no.
I've been in that garage.
What? Oh yeah, I have.
Willingly?
Hey, were those pumpkins you were using for that video? Were those the ones you grew from the crack in your driveway?
No, I got. Oh, dude, my God, I embarrassed my son so much. I broke a cart getting all those little pumpkins. So I was super lucky. I wanted to have a pumpkin patch up in the lake anyway, because I go out in the woods, I make a trail. I cleared up this huge spot. I was spending all summer clearing up this huge spot, laying cardboard down, clearing out this huge area. I was going to plant a bunch of pumpkin seeds. I went to Kroger, my local grocery store, and they had them for free because it was after Halloween, and they were all just going to rot. And they were like these. Right. And I filled up. We were leaving Kroger when I saw them. And I filled up an entire shopping cart, small shopping cart full of them. And it broke the cart in the parking lot as I was unloading them into my car. And
you're the crazy pumpkin guy.
Because both my kids were in the car. So I just had to load them in the passenger seat. So it was just like this huge amount of 100 pumpkins in my passenger seat because I didn't have a box or anything. I just loaded them in the cart. Oh, man. But yeah, that's what I planned. I took my daughter out there with my dog and planted them one day. It was so fun. Yeah, it was good times.
Well, all you do is you just. I mean, if you want to grow pumpkins, you just let pumpkins sit in a field and let them rot into the ground.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's exactly what I did. I destroyed them. I threw them into that place. I covered some. I did like some experiments to see what would help them grow more. And yeah, I'm pretty sure next season they're just going to take over. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Working on some archery range probably next week when I go up the lake. Excited. My kids want to learn bow and arrows.
Uh-oh.
I mean, what?
Bow and arrows?
Yeah. You can do that. I went to summer camp. I used to do that. I used to love it. Oh, because my mom was burned. No, I mean, I'm not going to stop liking bow and arrows just because my mom was burned by one,
Oh, okay.
That seems, hate the art, not the artist. I'll flip that. I don't know. Let's flip that. Hate the artist.
I was gonna say I don't know how to
separate art
respond
from
to
the
that.
artist. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Hmm.
Lance, I'm probably gonna head out because I I do have
I
to
had,
spend
by
some
the way, I had
time
to
with
show
my
Michelle
family.
your video there, Chris. I was like,
Oh,
she was
Oh
asking.
my gosh,
she was
Scott
asking.
Demers is going to be so upset that he missed you. He's like
Wait.
he's a huge Vikings
Well,
fan and
Is
also
the footage? Is there
Buchanan.
footage of the trial of the thing at the council meeting?
oh yeah, no,
It's on
it's
TMZ.
everywhere.
It's on
Oh, I
TMZ.
gotta watch that. Okay, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's if you want the raw uncut footage, Protect HB on Instagram, because they were
Oh, they
filming
have the
there,
whole thing.
and yeah, they have the whole thing. So yeah, if you want to see like everything that happened, like they were
Protect
recording everything.
HB. Awesome.
Yeah, Protect HB. So yeah,
Oh, Huntington Beach. Yeah.
yeah, they're the group who came together to like protect the library and really like they've branched out a little bit, but again, their primary mission is just be like just keep your hands off the library. Like it's supposed to be a public
Yeah.
space. It's supposed to be for everyone. Like there shouldn't be any sort of political message on the front of the library. Like it's supposed to be a welcome place for everyone. Come read books. So yeah, I don't know how anyone can argue with that, but they find a way.
Yeah.
So cool.
So
All right, well,
so burn
thank
it
you for having me
down
on,
then. That's what
Lance.
you're saying. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
anytime.
yeah,
You
no,
should,
no, don't. And also for anyone listening, please do not attack the library. The everyone who works there are wonderful people. Because like I've had multiple be like, oh, we're gonna give it negative review scores. I'm like, don't attack the library. Like that's what the council is doing. Like go find where the council works and go review bomb that place. Like that's that'll do something. Like leave the library alone. So
Well, I was going to ask you, what are your thoughts about the brown shirt thugs dragging
fucking
that
in Coeur
woman out of
d'Alene.
the of course it's Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. The
Right?
mo-
Like it's
just the place where the KKK went to hide when they
yep.
were thrown out of everywhere else in the nation.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, it's not surprising. And then the more worrisome one is fucking what's his name? Eric Prince from Blackwater. Now Academy, I guess. The dude who has his own private mercenary army that committed war crimes in Iraq. He's asking for a White House contract to help with mass deportations, where he can have like 100 planes and spots on military bases and a private army that'll be deputized to arrest people. And it's like, yeah, that's some Nazi shit. Like you're a Nazi.
How much American hate is going to be resown over the next 4 years?
Oh God,
It's
we're killing
insane.
ourselves as a country. Like we have ceded so much power on the global stage and for nothing. Like there was no reason to do it.
I mean, internationally too. Like just the country, like the world as a whole is like,
Yep.
there's no way. Like you did it again.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
you
well,
guys, like what?
well, so at this point, if I was a foreign leader, I would say, how can I trust America? Like if you're willing to elect a guy like this a second time, like how can I ever believe that your country is going to work with mine? And it's terrible because okay, so that means Europe's going to start remilitarizing, which ups the risk of conflict there. It means obviously Canada and Mexico can't trust us, and they're our local trading partners. It cedes ground to China to start making inroads in Africa, where we've cut off all our aid because that's a smart move. Sure, let's let warlords come back into power because people are starving and don't have any hope for the future. Like it's just it's a government run by people who don't understand the interconnectedness and complexity of a global world and think that they can just say something and that it will happen. And it's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's my soapbox. I'm gonna go drink heavily and try not to think about the world. So
But it'll still be here.
it'll still be here. Yep, whether I wanted to or not. All right. Well, yeah, no, thank you, Lance. Thank you for everyone. It was good seeing everyone again. It was
good to see you too, man.
it's been too long. So
Well, don't be a stranger. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I send you the
play-
fucking link every week.
I know.
It's
I appreciate the links. It's
But,
just usually I'm busy, so
Oh,
yeah, I'll try to make more
yeah,
time.
gotta-
I do need to make more time. I've been neglecting my Alaboom duties, so I'll
yeah,
try to change that.
I've heard this story before, but
Right? It's
all
when
right. Well, I
come back,
still hold you
like,
responsible for 2009
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, am I going to see at any conventions at all this year? By the way,
I will be in Minnesota for Convergence, which I guess is July 3rd through the 6th, I believe, in Minneapolis. They're flying me and my family out because the problem with the conventions is that like my but I'm the stay-at-home dad, but
they're flying
right.
in.
But
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
my
Didn't you? I read what your contracts are worth in the NFL. You gotta have them fly you in.
it's so try prorating my contract out over 45 years, which is the average working length of time. It's a decent amount of money. It's not like I can afford to gallivant everywhere around the world.
Well,
But yeah,
Minneapolis is everywhere around the world. That's a gallivant for you. I
it
gotta
is a
tell my wife
gallivant.
the next time I say we should drive to the cities to go to a concert, I'm gallivanting.
It is both a gallivant and a saunter.
Yes.
So, but yeah, no, I'll be there. So yeah, if anyone's in the area, more than happy to see him. It's looks like it's just a big nerd convention, which is a lot of fun.
What's it called?
But,
Convergence.
Convergence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Convergence.
Good name.
I'm familiar with it. I've never been, but I'm familiar with it. So
yeah,
it's
I'll be out
probably
there
better
if
than the Dave Con, which is like a
Dave Con.
extremely like old white men playing D&D con
right.
that's held in like March in Minneapolis. So yeah. Anyway. But anyway.
See you, man.
Well, man. Well,
Have a good one. See you,
Take
see you
care,
inside
Chris.
of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I'll see you in Monster Hunter,
Tomorrow, right?
or
Tomorrow. It's gonna be a
I'll see you at
long
the
Friday
camps.
night, or tomorrow's Thursday.
try not to get arrested on your way to dinner or whatever.
Yeah, I'll do my best. All right.
All right, later.
Where we lost Anthony.
Yeah, he said his connection was garbage.
He could have called in. Don't you have the phone number thing, right?
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. Convergence 2025. That's how we roll at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Hyatt Regency? Wow, cool. How many people? Must be big.
No, it's not.
No, like more than 1,000, 2,000.
But yeah, these are the guests.
Do they use tabletop events?
I don't think so. These are the guests. They have C.S.E. Cooney, as a two-time World Fantasy Award-winning author for her novel Saint Death's Daughter and for her collection Bone Swans and Stories. She's narrated 120 audiobooks. Tanya DePass is the founder and director of I Need Diverse Games, a nonprofit dedicated to the diversification of all things gaming by supported marginalized developers. She is currently working with Monolith Productions and is the creator and creative director of Into the Motherlands, a sci-fi futurist RPG developed with a team of 40 all people of color and Black creators. Croft Brown is a game designer for over a decade, working in both AAA and indie spaces, and currently a principal designer at Firewalk Studios. As an indie designer, Prof released several experimental personal games, live stream game development, and game design analyst, and did academic residency at Harrisburg University. And then finally, we have Christopher Cluey, maybe best known for playing football for the Seahawks, Vikings, and Raiders, which is weird that they would list Vikings second, but there's more than one type of game in his life. An avid player of World of Warcraft, League of Legends, and Path of Exile, he has created his own tabletop game, Twilight Gods, wrote Otaku, and is an avid supporter of same-sex marriage and LGBTA plus rights. Read more about Chris Cluey by clicking here. Here, I thought it would just take me right to
their attendance is big.
how many?
4,000.
Nice.
Last year was 4,000. 4,154. That's
Is it 4,000 or 4,154?
Oh, it's 4,154 according to the Wikipedia page.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
In 2019, it was 5,571, and before that, it was 6,477. So it's gone down a little bit, but that's probably a COVID effect. Yeah, their peak was 6,477. That's huge. Was that all at the Hyatt? Jeez.
I don't know.
Oh, no. Says DoubleTree by Hilton. God, how many people can fit into that place? 6,000.
Things to do. There's a book swap, a dealer's room, a gaming.
That might be counting dailies.
Oh, become a vendor. at the Hyatt Regency Convergence. Well, there's no list of vendors. Usually that's kind of, oh, please see our vendors page. Here we go. Oh,
Dude,
there's no
that
list.
camera is like really messing me up. Oh, you're back on your handheld now.
Oh no, I've been on the
But
handheld.
when
the
you're
whole
walking
time.
around, but when you're walking around the room, it's just like getting like motion sick.
Let me see if I can turn it off. Let's see if I can.
Or if you just sit still.
Oh, I got it clean.
You got to do your work.
Nah, I got some of my Adderall still
only
flowing
9
through me. I'm trying to
o'clock.
ride that.
12. What'd you say?
I got some of my Adderall still going in my system. I took it late today, so
Oh.
super productive. Want to ride it.
Adderall.
Oh man, yeah, I got bumped up from 10 to 15 milligrams, and it's a sweet spot where my ADHD just flows away and my productivity goes through the roof because like I see everything differently. Things line up where otherwise I'd meander, 5-10 minutes in an hour task. I could get it done without the meandering, and it adds up. Plus, I can figure out what is more important. Like, I find myself doing stupid shit for like 20-30 minutes and not getting it all done. Be like, oh, duh, why am I doing this? I should do something else. This is a waste of time until I get this other thing done. And so I do something half-assed and be like, my wife be like, why'd you do that? I was like, yeah, love the stuff.
I have realized what my least favorite work email is. When somebody says, hey, where's my thing that I ordered or I pledged for? According to the updates, those that I should have received it already. And then you pull up their order, you check their tracking, and you see it was delivered to them like 10, 11 days ago. So there's like
Uh-oh.
usually like there's a handful of possibilities here. Either A, and this happens more surprising than you believe. It was delivered, they grabbed it, they never opened the box, they just put it to the side or whatever,
I've
and
done
they
that.
and they just don't they don't, and then they're like, wait a minute, I didn't get my shit, and then so there's that. The other one is that it got delivered and somebody else grabbed it, like in their family, and put it away somewhere, and so they don't know where it is. Good Lord, he found some modification.
I'm trying to find the video feature where I can mess with it, and there's a lot of other ones.
The third thing is that like porch pirates, like somebody grabbed it or whatever. And the last one is it's just like they just say, well, I didn't get it. And I'm like, well, I have here, it says it was delivered to you. This is the address it was delivered to. And then they're like, well, are you going to investigate it with FedEx? And I'm like, I'll tell you right now what FedEx is going to say. They're going to say, we delivered it to your house.
Yeah, because it's in the tracking.
It's in the tracking. So, I mean, I can ask them to look into it, and I'm sure that they'll say, yeah, sure, we'll look into it. And then they'll wait 2 days, and then they'll get a hold of me and they'll say, yeah, it was delivered to that house. And they're like, and then those people are like, what are you going to do for me? What am I going to do for you? I mean, it was delivered to you. I don't know what you want. I mean, it's like that's the information I have, that your $300 with the game was delivered to your house, and you're just going to say, well, I didn't get it. Now, I do believe 99% of the time people aren't just contacting me and saying, I bet I'm going to get a free game if I just say this. I don't think that is, but I'm also just kind of like, what should you do in that situation, right? I mean, it's just like, obviously, like I mean,
I don't know. Good question. I would probably just give it to him again.
Yeah, that's what we almost always end up doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not $300 to you. It's $30 to you or $50 to you or whatever.
Maybe, but that also is, if I could sell for $300, it is $300 to me.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
we
let's
put it this.
on the value of our.
Well, okay. What's the amount then? Like, if I knew I could sell for $1,000, would I be like,
is it out of print?
No, but I mean, I'm just saying it's an item. I'm not saying it's a board game. I'm not saying it's a record. I'm not saying it's a T-shirt. I'm not saying whatever it is.
You can write that off. That's a loss. Write it. Right. I mean, I do that kind of stuff all the time.
I understand, but then that's also another thing. That's time and effort to itemize it and and have the whole process or whatever. You know, to get that to make sure that's
It's
done.
it's a marketing expense at that point.
So what's the dollar amount that you get to where you're like, you know,
Well, no, what I do is I say you have to sign for this now. That is what you do.
yeah,
You send it, sign for it. That's the only way I would do it.
when we
But
ship
if it's
things,
anything less than $50, who cares? Like it's just
well, no, I mean, there's a dollar amount, right? There's a dollar.
Yeah, 300 is definitely a sign for it.
So there is
Require signature.
there is a YouTube channel, and I'll share
doing?
it. He's just being weird.
Oh no, I forgot with the cameras. I'm trying to find those damn settings.
So there's a YouTube channel, and I'm going to share it. I'm going to share it in the in our chat here, and also people can just search for it if they want to.
Okay.
So I'm going to share it. This is a channel called Almost Vinyl, and this is a guy that puts together AI songs that sound like 50s and 60s and 70s records, and they're usually like, and they're kind of like satirical and stuff, and then he comes up with like a background for like the band. So that's like one of the best songs. You know, it's like I'm calling in sick, parentheses,
like
your shit.
So it's like,
and if you listen to the song, it's hilarious.
Oh, didn't we watch one of this guy's videos before? Like, wasn't there something?
I don't know.
You mentioned this, maybe not.
But when you listen to it, you're like, and this is AI. I mean, it is a
100%.
It is, and it sounds like a freaking person singing the song.
Believe me, the AI is getting very good at this stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
But this song is just hilarious. I mean, I was like jamming to it today when I was sitting at home, and I was just like,
is AI making up the lyrics too, or is he making?
I think the guy wrote the lyrics, and like, you know, but he like basically, you know, he might be programming the basic music as well.
By the way, it has a tag called altered or synthetic content. That's a tag now, apparently.
Yeah, it's on every YouTube video, and I have to mark yes or no. I never mark it most of the time. I think it's mostly just you need to mark yes if you did.
By the way, there was something AI the other day?
And it's like,
yeah. No. So basically, I'm into music stuff, right? Music gear and crap.
yeah.
But there's this guy. He did this video where he uploads. Some of the manuals for these like electronic instruments are like hundreds of pages, right? He found Google LM, right, which is the thing where you upload a rule book or a instruction manual, and then you can ask a question of the AI. And that just sort of got a big exposure in the music world, which I think it should be exposed in the board game world too. It's a pretty good system.
Kabuki Kid, you said fuck AI music, and then you said I have a friend who makes tons of AI music. He usually writes the lyrics. Do you tell your friend, hey, fuck you?
He gets a pass.
Oh, he gets a pass. Okay, he gets a pass.
Yeah.
Well, as long as it's your friends, but everybody else but her friend.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's
not
like
has to go fuck off and die.
He's not probably into it, right?
They need to go crawl into the middle of the street and beg for the steamroller of justice.
If it ain't the war, oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! You missed him by like 10 minutes.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That sucks.
Yeah, I even tried to say, I was like, he's a Vikings fan. He's a big fan of you. And he said, who is it? I said, Scott Demers. He's like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I believe it. Well, and here's a true story. So I came out of retirement, right? So I started my job 2 days ago. And like every comical error has happened tonight. Like I get together with my new boss and he goes, hey, I made 6 o'clock dinner reservations. And then we're sitting there and it's getting to be past 6 o'clock. And he goes, oh yeah, I pushed it back an hour. I didn't think you'd mind. And I'm like, I got to get to this call. And so then, okay, fine. I get done. And about a half hour ago, I arrived at the hotel only to find out that they didn't have my reservation. I don't have a room for tonight. And I'm in San Jose and everything is sold out. And so So I don't know what's going on here, but here's the beauty is so they effed up their reservation. And so they said, well, there's two possible options. One is a woman just checked out. You can stay in a dirty room. I'm like, that doesn't sound fun. Or we do have a non-functioning room. And I go, well, what does that mean? She goes, well, the room's out of order. I said, I know. What does out of order mean? She said, well, it doesn't have heat or cooling. I said, I'm going to bed and then I'm getting up at like 8 a.m. and going to breakfast. I'll take it. What she didn't tell me is it's a suite, a junior suite. And so I just spent $550 to go to sleep.
You didn't get like a pro rate for that? That sucks. Like
What a
they
talk.
Yeah. No, it's even better. The error is actually on my part in that when I made the reservation, I actually accidentally made it for 2 days starting yesterday. So when I
Oh, so you missed a day.
no-showed, when I no-showed, they charged me $300 for the room for last night when I wasn't here, and then canceled the second day of the reservation, for which I have the privilege of paying $550 for a room that doesn't have heat. But I do have a fireplace.
Well, that's not too
Is
bad.
that a real fire in there?
That's a real fire
It's a
because
gas
yeah,
fire.
that's the only heat I have in the place.
Did you bring
Anyway,
your own wood?
No,
If you know what I
looks like a
mean.
gas fire or something.
so anyway, put another way, if neither of those comical errors would have happened, I would have gotten to say hi to Chris Cluey, who I was gonna fanboy out a little bit and just let him know that I've been a huge fan of his ever since he wrote an article about his political beliefs and his father telling him, but wouldn't it be better if you didn't use all the curse words? And he says, "Oh my fuck no." Anyway, I really would have enjoyed meeting him, and I hope again maybe I get an opportunity another day.
Well, Lance tried to guilt him to come back soon, so you might. He really laid it on thick.
What? So catch me up. Give me the 20-second description of what it was like having Chris Cluey on here.
He's been on many times before. So,
Oh, has he?
oh yeah, I used to.
He was a regular.
During COVID. He was in my online D&D game for years.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, he did mention that he thought Dragons Down was a pile of shit, and how that game should never have been made.
Well,
Yeah,
he's-
just
I
came
mean,
up.
I don't know how he just happened to pick a game that you designed. I mean,
yeah, no, that's weird.
yeah, I mean, it
yeah,
just
I'm
came up.
sorry.
It came up completely and totally naturally. You know,
Yes.
you know, I mean, and I'm not lying at all. You can go back. I think I marked the time. It was like the timestamp was 1 hour and 20 minutes. I think.
Yeah, but you
No, it
but
was
you have
1
to
hour,
watch-
21 minutes and 32 seconds. Exactly. There you go.
Anyway, are you through, sir?
No, he's not.
He's never actually done.
Nope.
Well, so
I
just
tell my
know,
wife.
not long for this world. I am so far, like being with your brand new boss. I flew in this morning, got up like 8 a.m. or whatever, caught a flight, flew into San Jose, and I've been with my boss, with him just going through all these details. It was amazing, but all these details of the company, and I'm on the whole time. I got to kind of be focused. It's my new boss, right? And I am mentally just shot.
When's,
So,
when's the last time you worked?
2 years ago.
Oh.
I got to tell you though, this is going to be rock star level. This is going to be amazing. I'm so thrilled that I did this, to be honest.
Well,
So-
I mean, honestly, I mean, your wife was telling me that her boyfriend's pretty excited about the fact that you're gonna be gone a lot too. So everybody wins.
Everybody wins. Gee, thanks. Like, I didn't know you were. I didn't know you were in my hometown.
Oh, yeah, I got a flight to catch here in just a minute, guys. So just can we wrap this up?
God, it's like, are you done just spouting? I get on the call and it's just nothing like, it's just like old times. It's like nothing but just shit vomiting out of your face.
I just haven't seen you in a while, Scott. I've been building up this like feeling of like, what have you. So are you doing any conventions this year?
I'm going to be at Gen Con and
Sweet.
I might be at Origins, but
Sweet.
We'll see.
I'll let my wife know you can't come and visit.
By the way, if
Well,
anyone is
God.
looking for a Gen Con spot, my buddy Adam got a pretty nice suite connected, and we're probably gonna have room for a couple people. If everybody's interested.
Well,
can you tell me about the sleeping arrangements? Like, is there
a lot of just friends spooning.
Yeah.
No,
Hey,
I mean,
so
imagine right now, me and Adam will probably sleep in the same bed because we're both very frugal guys. We don't care.
Yep. Yeah.
And then other than that, I'll get you more details. I'll post them in the Alaboom when I get
I,
more from
I
him.
do actually have a room, but
Okay.
so I do have to tell you though, my greatest prank I've ever played on anybody. So yeah, this was probably 20 years ago, 27 years ago, actually it was. And I was working for a small consulting firm and we all went on like a little like team building thing and we shared hotel rooms. And because of the way it worked out, I was in a room with two women. And so it was me and two women. They're in one bed, I'm in the other. No big deal. We're all just friends and stuff. So we were going out to have some drinks that night. So what I did is I took a pair of boxer shorts, green boxer shorts, and I tucked them under my sheets before we went out to bed. Great, no problem. So then we go, we have all kinds of drinks and stuff. Then we come back to the room, and in front of them, I stripped down to my green boxer shorts that happened to match the pair I tucked under the sheets earlier that night. Right. So then I climb into bed and we're watching TV, just talking a little bit. And so then I go, well, and I just kind of wiggle under the covers, right? And I grab the green boxers I had stashed there earlier and I throw them across the room, across their line of sight. And then I just sat there and waited, and the silence was so uncomfortable. It was amazing. And so then after about like a minute and a half, I just threw back the covers and goes, I'll get the light. And I just jumped up. And of course I had my boxers on, but they were like, because they thought I obviously was naked. It was a great practical joke.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good one.
Pretty good one, right? Anyway, sorry
Good,
if that
clean
was
fun.
Yeah, you couldn't get away with it now. That was a different time 30 years ago, but it was pretty darn funny to me. They beat me mercilessly. I was laughing so hard I couldn't defend myself, and they were just both pounding on me in a violent way. Anyway. All right, I'll shut up now. I feel like I've just jumped in and been a tornado of noise.
What's the what's the status on the game that you're
He's not the publisher.
well, I know, but I mean he's
No.
probably
Oh, I'm so involved in everything.
Oh, you
It's
are? Okay.
yeah,
Is it
I've never
hands-on?
Hey, you know what? Why don't you just take care of your little website there, Scott, and let
Okay,
let the
I'll just stay out of
publishers
it.
talk amongst each other. Okay.
Okay, got it. Sure. Very good.
your little website. That's
game-
actually really
what's
funny.
the game you're doing next week? What's it called?
What are we talking about? You talking to me?
No, Log Alliance.
Nah,
Okay.
he's
What's the name of that game?
He's just trying to give me the business.
I gotta push the button on that game, and right now I'm gonna.
Champions of Midgard,
I'm gonna
baby.
make my
10th
little
anniversary
setting. I'm gonna
goes
get my
live.
setting.
Goes live.
I was
March
freaked. I was
4th.
freaked out by Lance's floating talking head in that video.
Yeah, it's a
You
good
know.
video though.
Good
You
is
get-
all
have
relative.
you
It's a
gotten
video with
stats?
Lance in it. How good could it be?
We made it. I got a good ad. Nikki made today. She showed me an ad for some of our stuff.
That's cool.
We're becoming our own advertiser. Some of these videos, you're like, we do so many videos. Like, why are we not putting ads in them ourselves? YouTube's not worth it.
Right?
Yeah.
Good point. Hey, have you guys played SETI?
Yes.
You like it?
I do.
Okay. All right.
I did the
I think
whole
it-
I play it the one time and I'm like
I have
Yeah,
like one
good, but I
criticism.
don't know if I'll play it again.
Give me the criticism.
The scanning part is weak.
Yeah, thanks.
Where you're putting
So-
in the majority of the dots into the
Yep.
slots. Like, it feels like you get edged out.
So
and you get nothing for it or very little.
that's a great point that you said that, because so I played it last night. One of the guys really gung ho on it, and I'm not necessarily a huge fan of like complex heroes. So for example, I like Terraforming Mars. Arc Nova, which to me is advanced Terraforming Mars, I do not like. It's adding more shit doesn't make something better. It just makes it more. And I have the same feeling about SETI. It was like there's just a lot of stuff going on here that doesn't necessarily mean it's all fun or cool. In the end, I think it was partially because I was day 2 of a job and exhausted. But I pursued this scanning strategy, Scott, and I was so out of it by late
Three.
turn 2. Yeah, turn 3.
Yeah.
And I was getting outmaneuvered by people who would play cards. Like I'm sitting here, I've upgraded all my scanning. And then somebody goes, I can place 3 anywhere I want and take that
and
away
then
from you.
take the thing away from you and jump in there and nab it.
Right. And so anyway, that part was disappointing. I'm willing to give it another try, but my initial impression was it reminds me of like Trajan or Arc Nova or stuff like that, where it's just like a lot of stuff going on that
Yeah, I like
doesn't
all the
necessarily
knobs
lead
and
to
turns.
strategy.
Yeah, I like to play
Yeah.
with all the toys.
Yep.
I think the
Anyway.
aliens are fun too. Like it's cool to not
That
know.
was a cool idea.
And we
Yep.
were kind of blown away with like how it appears, you know, and you're like, wow, that's cool.
Yep. You find traces of it.
And the
once you
aliens
find
are very interesting.
Yeah, we had very different ones. We had the ones who were on I forget it's called Ubuntu or whatever, the asteroid or the thing that passed through the solar system. And then the other one was the bugs. We had the arachnids from Starship Troopers.
Yeah, I was wondering, are the arachnids, they don't bite your head off?
No,
They're
but
friendly.
what created a thematic? This did create a thematic moment in the game in that you go and get them and bring them back to Earth, and
Yeah,
of
you're like,
course
oh,
we
yeah.
were doing like, hey Ripley, how are you going to get those through quarantine?
Yeah,
right. Those
Yeah,
jokes.
I mean,
were
they did
fine.
that on purpose, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
I played with that one too.
Yeah. So anyway,
but it's a cool thing because it's like, oh, you need to go get or like, is it an abstracted thing where you're just saying I'm bringing them back to Earth? But
no, there are
go get
physical
them.
tokens
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah,
there's, and I don't remember. I was so out of it. I'm
That
scanning.
was the
I
one
never.
we played too.
I think I launched 2 probes the whole
It's all
game.
dark. Your brother, and plus it's the helicopter guy. You can say hi.
Helicopter.
Remember the paper helicopters?
Oh,
Get over here and tell me good night.
that's me, by the way. I'm helicopter guy.
Come here. Give me a hug. Give me a hug.
Nobody
Nobody
can get up.
nobody can see you.
Dang it. Oh, that's what he looks like. Just kidding.
Get over here. Look. You can see my shoulder. You can't even. All you can see is this shoulder.
Hey, you know what's really fun is to send a text to your boss that says, "Hey, I just spent $860 for a hotel room for one night. Sorry about that. Can I submit this for reimbursement?"
Wheels. All right, for real. Give me a hug.
No, you had your chance.
Oh, that you know what?
Oh, I got it. There you go, Scott. Now it won't follow me.
Oh,
Boom.
great.
Took me forever. I'm gonna go clean my garage now.
Why are you going to bed so late?
Just got home.
Why are you just getting home?
It took forever to fucking do the game.
I love the fact Lance never beat.
Good thing you did that pep band. What are those grades?
He's like, we're watching Parenting Live.
Sorry.
That's all good.
Oh,
I am incredibly tired though. I apologize. I probably am not long for this world. Long for this call.
well, if we get Forrest back, we can quick do initials, so then you can go to bed.
Oh, okay. Oh, because I'll even be more garbage on initials than I normally am,
Well, yeah.
which is not saying much. And there's not much under floor to go lower on. So, but darn it, I'm an overachiever. I'm gonna go for a 0.
Forrest, where are you?
Garage.
Said he was cleaning his garage.
All right, get your butt over here. We're playing initials.
I'm here.
All right. The initials tonight are H as and C. H. No, H C.
HC.
So H C. All right, here we go. Number 1. Appeared in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Great game, mind you.
Yes.
Yeah, good game. Yeah.
Number 2. Connected to the sinking of the U.S. battleship Maine. Number 3. Connected to Dirty Dancing in 2004. Not the original. Not the original 2004.
I'm still hung up on the main clue because I should know this. I'm really disappointed.
Clue number 4. Connected to a number one hit in connected to a number one hit in 2017 that has over 1 billion views on YouTube.
1 billion views.
1 billion. Number 5.
Close.
Has one of the largest metropolitan areas in the Caribbean region.
Scott,
Scott.
I can't believe I didn't think of this immediately after Maine. Havana, Cuba.
Havana,
Oh no,
Cuba
yeah.
is correct.
Yep.
All right, number 2. Clue number 2. Clue number 1. Item number 2. This is the name of a book written by David Duchovny. Did you hear that they're talking about him and Gillian Anderson coming back for another season of like X-Files or something?
So such a letdown the last time though.
Yeah, I know.
So why? Like, who cares?
Yeah, why? Well, because somebody's gonna pay
I
him
guess
money.
someone's gonna pay. Yeah, someone's gonna
Somebody's
pay.
gonna pay him
Maybe
money.
it'll be
Right?
on streaming too, right?
Yeah. Clue number 2. Associated with reporter and broadcaster Halsey Hall.
Halsey Hall.
Mm-hmm. Clue number 3. This is an exclamation.
Scott,
Scott.
holy cow.
Holy cow!
If you said Harry Carey, I would have got
Yeah, that's the gimme. That's the gimme. Often said by
Yeah.
legendary baseball broadcaster Harry Carey.
Holy cow!
All right, here we go. Clue number 1. This is often stylistically written as one word. Clue number 2. This is connected to food. Clue number 3. This often involves a mess. Clue number 4. Includes a tray.
Got nothing.
Clue number 5. Aldi.
high chair.
High chair is correct. I almost got to do my favorite clue of this one was Blackbeard the pirate tried to sit in one on The Simpsons.
He
And
did.
he was like, because they all had to sit, and he's sitting, and he goes, "This chair be high," says I. Just,
That's a pretty good impression there, my friend.
yeah. And then that's when they it's the Daddy Soul Donut Halloween
Daddy
episode.
Soul Donut.
Yeah, and then he hands him the and he's like, "What?" It just I forget who I think it's who was the American Revolution traitor, Benedict Arnold. Like he's on the devil's jury as well. And then they're like, and then Marge says that Homer can't sell his soul because Homer already gave, I give you my love and my everlasting soul. And she's like, and she goes, I have this. And she hands like the love note. And then Blackbeard looks at it and goes, looks to be some sort of treasure map. And Benedict Arnold says, no, it isn't. It's a poem. Can't you read? I masked my illiteracy with my skullduggery or something like that.
That's actually a pretty good line.
Yeah. Anyway. Clue number 1. Debuted in 1972. Clue number 2. This first appeared in Japan. Clue number 3. Commonly seen on asphalt. Clue number 4. A subcompact.
Aldi.
Go for it.
Honda Civic.
Honda Civic. I know I've told this story before.
I
so
was
I'll give
trying
you-
for some reason Hyundai was in my head, but it's Korean.
I know I've told the story before, but I'm going to tell the story again. I went to the Fargo Curling Club over like 25 years ago, me and my buddy Shad, and we drove in Shad's broken down piece of shit Honda Civic. And we got to the Fargo Curling Club to do a little curling and drink some beer. And when we came outside, his car was gone. It was just gone. And I was like, who's going to steal your piece of shit Honda Civic? And he's like, I don't know, because he would just leave his keys in it. He didn't care. And I was like, who's going to steal this thing? It was the middle of summer, right? So I mean, it's like the curling club was, they kept it cold. It was like a hockey arena kind of thing. And so then when we got home, he had a message on his answering machine, because that's how long ago this was. That was from some fix it repair shop. They said, hey, if you can give us a call back, that'd be great, or whatever. And they must have like looked up his title and found out his phone number and called. Apparently somebody else's car was broken, and they said, yeah, I'm going to leave my car at the
They
place.
told the wrong piece of shit.
And then they said, I'll leave the keys in, just get you tow it in. And then like he's like, can you give me a ride over to this place? So we drove over to this place, and we got in there, and the guy's like, yeah, so, and he's like, yeah, you guys towed my car in here by accident. They're like, yeah, well, we did like $800 worth of repairs on it, so I'm not going to give you the keys until you pay it. And he was just like, the fuck I am paying you? You stole my car. I was like, and they're like, well, we did the work though. And he's like, cool, put all the parts back in. I mean, just like,
Right. Oh my God.
And then he was like, that's not how this is going to work. And he's like, well, you know what? Let's just call the cops and we'll see what they have to
See what they say.
And
That's amazing.
they begrudgingly gave him the keys. And then, like, I was like, that's insane. How does that happen? And then years and years and years later, when I dropped my car off at a place to get the oil changed and they weren't open, and I put the keys in the drop box, the same goddamn thing happened to me. When I went to go pick up my car later, they were like, yeah, a guy got here early and he thought he was supposed to do all this work on your car and he did it. And they were like, so you got to pay for this. And I was like, I'm not paying you a dime. I owe you $27.50 for the oil change, and here you are. Oh, well, I guess we'll see you in small claims court, he said. I was like, I guess you will.
Oh, funny.
We'll see what happens there. They sent me one letter to try to collect
You haven't
bill.
shared your grievance yet, Lance.
Oh my God. You're
Oh,
right.
Finish the game and then you can.
Yeah, I can share my
Thank God.
It's a good 20 minute.
Oh,
plus
it's
grievance, I think.
insanity. But it actually is.
Is it
anyway,
over? Oh no, it is over.
Clue number one. Includes synchronized swimming. Clue number two. This was set in the 1950s. Clue number three. However, it wasn't released until 2016. Clue number four. This title features a comma and an exclamation point. Clue number five. This starred Josh Brolin, George Clooney, and Scarlett Johansson. This is the final clue. Joel and Ethan Coen directed and produced this film about the movie industry.
Aldi.
Go for it.
Of course.
I think it's Hail Caesar.
Yeah.
Hail Caesar.
I never saw it.
Looked pretty
Yeah.
good.
It's okay.
It was good?
It's I've been meaning to like write down my favorite
Coen
my
Brothers.
like basically list off, like do a write up on my favorite Coen Brothers movies.
Coen
Like
Brothers.
basically their worst to their best. Like kind of like what I did with Wes Anderson movies a while back. Worst to best kind of thing.
Simple Plan.
That's not
Well,
them.
that's a good movie.
Blood Simple.
Blood Simple.
Blood Simple.
Yeah.
Some
It's not- but it's not their first movie.
What's their first movie?
It's a freaking horrible movie with Bruce Campbell in it. Hold on.
That's all right.
And I finally watched it, and because a buddy of mine got it on DVD or something. I don't know how he did, but it was It was not good.
Who starred in it?
Bruce
Hold
Campbell.
on. Hold
Bruce
on.
Campbell.
Hold on. Crime Wave was the name of the movie, and it was horrible.
Big
Yeah, it
old
was not.
baby.
Oh no, it was. I'm sorry. It was written by a Coen. You're right. That one was written by the Coen brothers, but directed by Sam
Oh, it's
Raimi,
not. Oh, okay.
and it wasn't good. So anyway, here we go. Clue number one. Sometimes displayed as one word. Clue number two. There are concerns over access. Clue number three. Can contribute to a significant part of a country's economy. Clue number four. This is an industry. Clue number five. Outside of the US, this is largely free.
Of course.
Go for it.
Healthcare.
Healthcare is correct.
On the board.
Good job. It's an industry.
Too soon.
Clue number one.
Hmm.
This premiered at Sundance and later aired on HBO. Clue number two. This involves hot. Dang it. Let's just. Oh! This involves
Okay.
temperature.
Oh,
Clue number three. Famously involves burns.
I know half of it. And I don't know the other half.
Forrest.
Heat check.
Eh.
Yeah.
Jack, oh, that's a good one though.
Clue number four. The subject of a 2011 documentary. Number five. Was a supposedly deleted sexual minigame in a Grand Theft Auto release.
Oh, god dang
Oh,
it.
Aldi,
Aldi.
hot coffee.
Yep.
Hot coffee is correct.
San Andreas. Remember that was the biggest, like, oh my god, you can see boobs in there. If you do this, that, the other thing, you gotta hack a blunts in the file codes. Oh my god.
Not,
I was
not
in
to
an
be-
age where
San
I was a
Andreas
kid,
was
you
a
know.
really, really good game.
It was. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I think the new GTA is coming out this year.
They said it was absolutely coming out in 2025.
Absolutely.
Yep. I
You
can
remember how
remember
mind blowing it was to change your body based on how much physical effort you put in? Like, just,
Yeah.
oh,
And I remember I'd sit there and play San Andreas, and I play it all the time. And then I remember my buddy Brent didn't own whatever. I think that was PlayStation 2 at that time. I think it was PlayStation 2 with San Andreas, maybe 3.
Yeah,
yeah, it was the last one, I believe. Because they
Yeah.
got Vice City, GTA 3, and then San Andreas, I think was the last one on that generation.
Yeah. I remember my buddy Brent would like, hey, he's like, what are you doing, tonight? I'm like, I don't know, I just got off work, and he'd be like, oh, I grabbed a 6-pack of beer. I thought I'd stop by. I was like, you want to come over and play San Andreas, don't you? And he's like, yeah, can I come over and play San Andreas? I was just like, yeah.
When GTA 3 came out,
Mind blown.
I documented every mission that I could that I played because I was trying to get ideas for our video games.
Yeah.
I remember
I wrote this whole document for Duke and sent it to the team, and nobody responded. Like I got nothing. Yeah, I was just like, okay, well, now I know my place in this company.
Yeah.
Did you guys used to do this? I remember I was in high school and we stopped doing pretty much everything outside, playing every other video game, and we would just all play GTA 3 and take turns seeing how many stars you could get. Just like that was the whole point. It's like, oh god, a simpler time.
San Andreas was the only time I went there on release day, bought my copy at Best Buy, and as I was walking out, I was asked by two different kids, like 13, 12 years old, saying, will you buy the game for me? Because they wouldn't sell it to them. because it was a
I
mature
want an
rating.
updated
title.
Vice City, like a new Vice City with the 80s again, but I don't think I'm gonna
Yeah.
get it.
No, they were. I was like, and I just said, I can't do it, buddy. Just ask your parents. I mean, just bamboozle your parents into doing it. I mean,
I haven't played 5 seconds of San Andreas or any Grand Theft Auto.
Have you played any Grand Theft Auto?
Nope.
Wow.
I mean, the
Are you-
last
are
one
you-
was
in-
good, but I
Are
actually
you into
prefer.
video games? Are you video-
I played Dead by Daylight, but that's the only one I really play. And I play board games online.
Grand
but-
Theft Auto is amazing.
Yeah, I just don't have time.
Just a sandbox, though. You just
Yeah.
play
It's
as
a sandbox, but the missions are great.
they are.
Yep.
Story's great.
Yeah, I mean, screw that. I just want my next Red Dead Redemption. Honestly,
Yes.
that's what I want.
Yes.
I keep
yes.
trying to finish that game and I cannot get through it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the opening 2 chapters are just
Yeah, and I got
dreadfully
through that,
slow.
but I'm in the the wheels are off, but I just for some reason I just cannot.
Yeah.
Something about the pace of it just doesn't work.
One
for
of
me.
the best stories and best acted games ever. I mean, honestly,
Yeah, that's
You
great.
just.
You have the patience.
Oh, I know.
I'm just like a slow. I like stuff quicker fed to me.
When you get to the
Like
mission
riding your
where
horse like for 10 minutes just to get to the mission. Like
when you get to the mission where he all like there's all these like kind of weird backstories where they talk about the girl that he would have married, but like her father wouldn't let it happen, and so like and she needs help, and so like it's like, oh, my brother needs help, and then, oh, this needs help, and then my father needs help, and he does it all right. And then it's even one of those things where it's like he's like, I could escape right now, I could leave, like but he just says, I can't
get out of the
leave.
gang. Leave the gang.
Like she's like, you can come with me right now and we can leave, and he's like, it's like your father would disown you and we'd have nothing. He said, I just need to make a little bit of money.
Be
And
one
then I'll
more
come.
job.
Yep, then I'll come find you. And it's just heartbreaking because you just know it isn't going to end well for him. It's just like that's like his moment, and then you just can't get it. I mean,
that game does a better job than any other game I've ever played at creating human characters.
yeah, and then I mean, like, and then like when she sends him the letter that basically says, I moved on and you should move on too. Like one of the people said, you got a letter, from that girl Mary, and then he's like, oh, thanks, and then she's like, and it's such an offhand moment, but the woman who hands in his camp who hands the letter, he goes, is that Mary? She isn't worth it, Arthur. And then he just looks at her and goes, who is? It's just like, oh man, it's just like he just looks sad, and you're just like, oh, yeah, it's a rough game, but it's a good game. All right, clue number 1. By design, this isn't flexible. Clue number 2. It's used to distribute a load. Clue number 3. This is usually oval shaped. Clue number 4. It's also a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down. Clue number 5. It can be used to aid in pulling. Final clue. This is the name given to an illegal tackle in American football.
Forrest.
Forrest. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Horse collar.
Horse collar is
Horse
correct.
Well
Horse
done.
collar. Yeah.
I could not
Pulled
come
it
up
out of
with
there. I didn't.
Yeah. You can find it online, but during Barry Sanders' heyday, he's breaking free. He's going to make looks like he's going to get a big run. And Joey Browner, who is widely considered to be one of the strongest men in the NFL at that time, playing safety for the Vikings, reached out with one hand, grabbed him by the back of his jersey, and yanked him down to his knees. Just like Barry Sanders running by full speed. I was like, good Lord. Now that would have been a 15-yard penalty because he just basically grabbed him by his jersey and whatever and yanked him down. But at that time, it was a man's game. So clue number one. Oh, did you read that article that basically said that like concussions were down something like 42% in the NFL this year?
It's because those kickoff things are stupid.
Well, the kickoff and also
I mean, I'm fine with
the
the no
kneecaps.
concussions, but the game sucks now with the kickoffs.
the people that were in danger were given that big giant mushroom
kneecap.
helmet.
Yeah, the big mushroom
Yeah.
helmet.
They
Yeah,
need to make those for everyone. The fact that Tua is like, no, I don't want to use one. It's like, dude, you're fucking stupid. Like, just NFL, you should be fucking like the fact that they're playing with fire with this. Just make it. Everyone has to wear it. If you don't want to wear it because it doesn't look cool, then get the fuck out and don't make millions. All right.
Yeah,
Like,
and Tua actually said he didn't want to wear it because it looks stupid. That's that's
if
the
this were
reason
the
why.
NBA, Adam Silver would have done this last year. Like it's just piss poor NFL. Like Roger Goodell is like, yeah, like, and now that they have this, if they don't just make it, yep, this is their new helmet. Like if he does it, like, pisses me off.
Clue number one. This is connected to Mark Twain. Clue number two. This is connected to a infamous. Go ahead.
Haley's comment.
Eh.
I've fallen for that 2 times for you now. You've
That's a
given that Mark
great.
Twain.
That's it. Aldi. That
He
I
does it
bow
every
down.
time. He does it on purpose. We've played HC before.
And it's Hallie's comment. Thanks. Anyway, number two.
No,
Connected
it's
to an-
Bill Halley and the comment.
Yeah, there you
Go
go.
on.
Connected to an infamous Barnum and Bailey circus tent fire that killed over 100 people in 1944.
And it's not Haley's comment.
No.
Yeah. Clue number three. This is connected to America's first ever witchcraft execution. Nah, the devil's business. Clue number four. This is connected to the NHL.
Of course.
Go for it. 5, 4,
He just
3,
went for it because it's a sport.
2,
Hand check.
and hand check was where they could
You got-
first ever.
Now I hope I don't fuck it up. I'm so
You're
tired.
freewheeling now.
I don't know some witch stuff. What are you saying?
Clue number 5. You can find Katharine Hepburn's grave here.
Ooh, find a hand check.
Final clue.
I think you've given this clue before. Anyway, go ahead.
Final clue. This was the home of the Whalers.
Oh, Hartford, Connecticut.
You want to ring in, Scott, or somebody else want to
Dot. Hartford, Connecticut.
All right.
I think you've given that clue before.
That one does feel like it could be from the original game for sure, because it was,
No,
sports
because
related.
Lance, he fooled me with the Haley's comment before.
I think you're making these things up.
I'm gonna find the episode.
You're gonna need AI.
I need
go
AI.
for it.
Well, here's the thing. Lance's for some reason Lance's videos don't auto transcript.
Good. I don't need them like taking my whatever and whatever.
Taking your precious bodily fluid.
Yeah,
I don't
our
need
precious
them
bodily
making
fluids.
automatic chapter marks for my viewers.
Yeah, exactly. What's that garbage? All right, here we go. Clue number 1. This is considered a short period. Clue number 2. It is also called a dirty snowball.
Anthony just told me that he got me with the Hartford, Connecticut clue.
What now, Anthony? What?
Anthony, he said I got the Hartford, Connecticut clue last time. You missed it. He remembers. He remembers. Anthony remembers. Anyway,
I remember.
dirty snowball.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna believe him? He doesn't know anything of what he's talking about. Clue number 3. This is a connection to Sir Isaac Newton.
Force.
Go for it.
Haley's Comet.
That is correct. Haley's
Oh.
Comet.
How did I not get
you.
that with the stupid dirty snowball? God,
Oh, that one's extra sweet.
that was
Yeah.
great. It's always the best when someone else gets the clue.
All right. Sorry, just hold on. I just.
By the way, this game is still amazing.
It's not
Names.
zoomed in.
Code names.
What?
Oh, code names?
What is
Yeah.
Code names. Been playing it for months now.
Never
Is
stopped
it just?
being amazing.
Is it like a solo thing or something, or
No, it's a
what?
multiplayer. It's got all. It's got so much game.
Yeah, the app's pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
you can
I've
play
heard.
multiplayer. You can play solo. You can give, you can do assassin mode where you and one other person are fighting an assassin. It's endless fun.
I wonder what kind of
tons
legs.
of achievements.
Well, I
lots
mean,
of-
is it something where like it's random with who you play, or
well,
what?
it has a friend system, but yeah, it can be random too. Like if I
Alright.
push join a game, it'll put me in a random game right now.
All right.
That's kind of awesome. How long do the games last typically?
Well, it depends if the person's online. Sometimes very quick. If you're playing in assassin mode and you and the same person are on the same on at the same time, it's like under an hour. But you don't have to play it. You play it like 5 minutes a day. It's not it, and the games can go on for days.
Does it have a pretty nice statistic system? Like, does it keep track of your stats and whatnot?
It has everything. It's the ultimate app.
All right, I'm checking it
I mean,
out.
it's
thanks.
amazing.
Yeah,
Not
you're the
free.
straw that broke the
Not
camel's
free.
back.
I
All right.
apologize. I have got to go to bed.
Well,
I'm
we've
so
only
tight.
got like 4 left.
Yeah, well, all right.
Oh,
Zip
oh,
through
oh,
them,
my
Lance. Zip
bad.
through them. Zip through them. Zip through them.
Clue number 1. Les Steckel.
What? What do you say?
I said less Steckel.
Clue number 1. Les
What?
Steckel.
God,
Less-
I know the reference. I have no idea what the answer is, but
Clue number 2. Norm Van Brocklin.
Ooh, those are words itself.
oh, Scott,
Scott.
head coach.
Head coach
Ah,
is
that's-
correct.
What did you
That
say?
was-
I don't even understand what anybody's saying. You're it's like all pops and clicks over here.
It was Les Steckel and Norm Van Brocklin are both head coaches for the Minnesota Vikings.
What did you say for us though? You
What?
said something. You said something.
Oh, I was I knew the name and I couldn't put my finger on it.
Oh.
Like I knew that name. I'd heard it before.
Got it.
All right. Clue number 1. Connected to Jamie Kennedy.
Oh yeah, well, that guy.
The Mask 2.
Clue number 2. Connected to Scare Tactics. Clue number 3. Connected to taxi cabs. Clue number 4. Connected to the MTV show Boiling Points.
Force.
Go for it.
Hidden cameras.
Hidden cameras is
Yeah.
correct. All right, here we go. Number 1. Connected to American Horror Story. Number 2. First debuted in 1976. Number 3. Appeared in The Big Lebowski. Number 4. Supposedly, it is a lovely place. Number 5. Was ranked 49th.
Aldi?
Go ahead.
Hollywood, California.
Eh.
Good way to
Number 5. Was 49th on Rolling Stone's list of 500 greatest songs of all time.
damn it.
Force.
Go for it.
Hotel California.
Hotel California.
California.
I was gonna, and the final clue was as Jeffrey Lebowski said, I hate the fucking Eagles.
Hmm.
All right, final clue. Number 1. Connected to Anna Gasteyer. Number 2. Connected to Jan Hooks. Number 3. Connected to Amy Poehler.
Scott,
Go for it.
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton is correct. Those are the 3 people that portrayed her on.
Did I win?
What's the final score? I think you tied Forrest for 5. Aldi's the big
Whoa!
loser.
I need to show up
first
completely
loser.
exhausted again. It's the best I've ever done by far.
I should have had the Eagles one.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah.
I thought you had
Comes
it.
into- yeah, I don't know why Hollywood, California popped in my head.
This game
Scott
any fun?
Demers. and
Omega
Forrest.
virus.
Hey, do I win tiebreakers or is it friendly ties?
It's a shared victory.
Oh,
Shared-
the
Unless,
worst.
unless Lance has a tiebreaker question.
No, I don't want to use
That was
tiebreaker.
all the questions I had.
Oh,
So
shucky
it's a shared
darn.
victory.
It was Hayden Christensen. That was the tiebreaker question.
Oh yeah, that was Hayden.
No, it's
Scott-
not. It's Howard Cosell. That's
Howard.
the tiebreaker.
Howard Cosell.
Howard Cosell.
Nah, that was in the original game, the sports game.
I've never played this before in my life,
right.
so
Has anybody
Well,
played the
can I-
Omega virus? Just out of curiosity.
I
may I
have.
go? May I go to bed now?
You can do whatever the hell you want. We should probably call it a night anyway. I got a big day tomorrow.
I'd like to thank my sponsor, Chris Cluey.
He had nothing.
Have
good
you
to say
developed a
about
drinking problem?
I may. All right.
If Chris
Hey, and I
Cluey
do
was sponsor,
apologize,
I'll
By the
guys.
way, did we talk about Poker Face before on the show?
The
it.
song?
Like the
Poker
song?
Face. No, the show with Natasha Leone.
Nope.
No. Oh, I
Okay,
know
we
the
should talk
show,
about
but I don't think we ever
Yeah,
talked.
it's a pretty great show. I put it on the other day. Anyway, we can talk to you later.
Good
Yeah.
night, everybody.
Good night,
See
Scott.
ya.
See you later.
I'm just gonna hold on to my grievance until next week. It's
Just
I
pile
don't
it
know
up.
and it's not really that bad of a grievance really because ultimately like I got satisfaction, right? I mean it was like 3 days of absolute just annoyance to save my life.
Hey, you're one up on the Rolling Stones, man.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, if you're interested in Champions of Midgard, you know what? Fine. I'll give the grievance.
You got one more. You got one more.
I got one more.
It's gonna
So-
be half an hour.
No, I'll
I don't
give
know.
you.
I don't
I'll
think
give
you,
you.
I don't think you have a
version.
short version.
I don't know. So
I'm excited. I want to hear it.
Well, it's like I said, I couldn't even be really mad. I mean, I was really frustrated, but I mean, I got the wind taken out of my sails pretty quickly. But anyway, so my wife's car started making this weird clicking noise. Like it was like click, 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 and as the car sped up, it made the noise louder and more repetitious. And so I have a repair shop that we've been going to for like 10 years, and they don't screw us. I'm sure if I looked around, I could find a place that was cheaper, but they always treat us kindly. They give us a discount. There used to be like if you were like basically worked at this bank that was next to their old location, they gave you 10% off. So it's like we just went there, 10% off labor and parts. How can you beat that, right? So we took it in, and then I told him exactly what it was, and then the mechanic. They were like, yeah, we diagnosed it. You got this ball bearing joint out and this axle thing is, and that's what's causing the noise. And we're like, all right, cool. And what's that going to run? It's like, well, it's like $1,400 or something like that. And I was like, well, that sucks, but whatever, it's got to get fixed. So we get it fixed, get it home. My wife takes it out to drive once and she's like, the noise is still there. And I was just like, well, that sucks. So I drive it over first thing in the morning after I take her to work. And I was like, so yeah, the noise is still there. And then I was like, can I get the mechanic in here? And so he can hear what we're listening to. And he was there like, yeah, sure. And so guy sitting in the car with me, I speed up so the guy hears the noise. And I said, do you hear it? And he's like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. And then he's like telling me, well, I mean, those parts, that thing that we fixed, that really needed to be fixed. And I was like, yeah, I understand. I'm not complaining. I'm just like, but I needed that fixed, not anything else. That's what I wanted. And so then they brought it in, and then they called me back, and they were like, "Oh, it's you're basically your timing belt is completely shot." Which, if you know what your timing chain or your timing belt, it's like basically makes so everything in your car works. And if that fails on you while you're driving, you're screwed. Usually do a ton of damage to your car. It's something that,
Yeah, it's
like they
usually like
say,
it's really a bad thing to.
yeah,
to
and it's something where it's like they recommend it gets like depending on the car, they recommend it's just automatic maintenance at 100 120,000 miles. You just take it in and have it done, so you don't end up with a ruined car. Anyway, so they're like, yeah, that's going to be $2,700, and I was just like, you're going to need to have whoever owns this place call me because I'm not going to pay you $1,400 for something I didn't want done, and then you're going to turn around and ask me for another $3,000. And I was fucking livid. I was just like, fuck you. I mean, this is like fucking bullshit. And then so then the owner called me, and it was like literally one of those things where he's sitting there and he's like, I was like, I hope you understand. I was like, I understand that you're telling me that the stuff that you fixed in the first place was like needed to be done, but I didn't bring the car in for that. And I mean, you diagnosed the problem. I trust you. You know more about cars than I do. I was like, this is fucking garbage. I say, I'm not mad. I'm not going to scream. I mean, like if I had been there, like at the moment, like I probably would have lost my mind. But thankfully, the guy was on another call or something, so he couldn't call me back immediately. So it was like a half hour. I had enough time to calm down. And then he immediately said, I agree with you 100%. I am, he's like, I will just from the start, I'll refund your entire labor for the first one. And he said, where do you want me to go as far as the parts go? And I said, I don't know. What do you think is fair? And he said, how about you pay for a quarter of the part for the parts? And I was just like, so what'll that be? And he's like, I'll give you a refund of like, just like $1,250. And I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, what am I going to say? I mean, it's just like, so basically, like, my wife's car has to get this other repair done, and instead of it costing nearly $3,000, it's going to basically cost half of that. And so it was just one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, that was completely fair. And I was like, okay, I mean, and he's like, you've been coming here for 10 years. I want to do right by you. I want everybody to be happy. And I think this is just the best solution. And I agreed. And I was like, okay, I mean, that was cool, whatever. And then, so I went and then I was like, they took it was like a 2-day job to get it all done. They
That's
got it
not the
done.
happy ending.
Yeah, that's like they get it done. And I come back in and they're sitting there and I was like, oh, I'm here to pick up the car and that's cool. And we start driving it home and the same exact noise is like still there. And I'm just like shaking when I got home because they were closed basically. And I was just like, and I called and I said, I just said I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna lose my mind. And I remember I drove in the next morning and they were like, I don't know what to tell you. Our top mechanic or whatever, like, took it for a test drive and he didn't hear anything. And so I was like, well, put him in the car with me. Let's listen to this. And so then we went out and we drove. And then I mean, and admittedly, when you like know the noise your car is making, like you are keyed into it. And this guy probably drives dozens of cars, every day, or trying to diagnose different cars, doing different things. So I can hear it. And I'm driving backing up and down this road, and I'm hearing this fucking noise as clear as a bell, like tick, 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 tick. And I'm like, there, it's right there. And he's like, I don't hear it. I was like, are you fucking deaf? I was just like, I was just losing my mind. We spent like 50 minutes in the car, and I'm tearing up and down this road that's like on this, because it was in this industrial area where there's no traffic. And I'm like, you can't hear that. Like I'm like revving the car and like it's making this noise. And we just go back and forth and back and forth. And he's just like, I don't hear it. And I was like, I swear to God, I was like, I'm rolling down all the windows. I'm like, just sitting there. It's like I put it in neutral. I'm revving the engine. It's making the noise. And he finally's like, oh, I think I hear something. And at this point, I don't believe anything that I say. He's just like, oh yeah, I think, because he's sick and tired of being in the car with me, thinking I'm a fucking loon, driving this thing back and forth. He's like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I hear it now. I know what I'm looking for now. I know what I'm looking for. And I was like, I don't think you do what you're looking for here. But so I drove it back, and then they had it like all day. And usually like they diagnose the problem and they call me back, like almost like within an hour and a half. And I'm sitting at home, 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 waiting, 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 waiting. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting and waiting. Nobody's called. Finally, like 10 minutes before they close, I just give them a call. And I'm like, hey, you've had my wife's car. Usually I get a call back at this point. What's going on? And then they just kind of go into this song and dance. And they were just like, so we did this, we did this, we did this, we did this, we checked this, we checked this, we checked this, we checked this, we even checked this, this, and this. And they were like, there's nothing wrong with the car. And I was like, what do you mean there's nothing wrong with the car? And he's like, well, it's a car that's got 150,000 miles on it. Sometimes cars just develop a sound. They just develop something, because they're not a brand new car. But there's nothing wrong with your engine. There's nothing wrong with this, nothing wrong with this, nothing wrong with that, right? And I was just like, so what you're saying is that even though it's making this noise, that my wife thinks that, the car is going to explode at any given time. There's nothing wrong with it. And then they're like, yes. And so what you're saying is that I did not have to spend $2,700 over the last 4 days because there was absolutely nothing wrong. And I know that's kind of a bullshit answer that I give, because if the timing, if they're not lying to me about the other stuff, then there was stuff that needed to be fixed on the car. But it's been like an ongoing like 5-day ordeal of like getting this car fixed, and ultimately some very important maintenance was done with the car and got fixed, and we can be happy with that. But the entire problem, the entire reason we brought it in the first place, still exists. and it's just like, and I'm down like $2,800 or whatever. So, it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like,
So you could have basically not fixed it.
yeah.
Like when they fixed those things, they basically never came back with like, oh yeah, it was a problem. They're
Yeah.
like, no, we just fixed it.
It was just
That sounds terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible.
But I mean, and it was just between me and like trying to explain everything that was going on and trying to like get him, and like I said, during that 20-minute drive up and down that road with that tech in my car, I thought I was under the impression that he thought I was just insane. Like I had, it's like, I don't hear it. I was like, how can you not hear it? It's like, it sounds like there's like the world's largest playing card in the spokes of my car. And as I rev it, it just makes noise.
How old is your car that you have spokes?
It's a wagon.
Yeah. So I'm driving home from game night, so you can't see me, but what's up?
Wow, how was Champions?
We had a really good time. As much as I wanted to come home and be like, I have great mixers.
Yeah.
We had a good time. I really liked it. I mean, I figured I would, but yeah, it's good. It does need some glowing up though, buddy. Let me tell you.
Yeah, well, we'll glow it up on the 4th of March. Hey, you talk to Hungry. Well, I gotta go check on something. I'll be right back.
How's it go, man?
Hey, Scott.
You're driving in the dark. Oh, I see your face there.
Yeah, yeah. You're not gonna be. I thought I was like, oh, I'll just put it in the car, you'll be able to see, but no, you can't. Hopefully, you don't hear my dumb navigator making noise.
Ah,
'Cause that-
Haven't heard it yet.
oh, good. So how's it going? What's going on? What I miss?
Well,
Chris Cluey was here.
Chris Cluey was here, and he talked about his arrest and all of his stuff. Talked about games. Have you played Fate, Defenders of Grimheim?
No, I actually saw you post about it. Went and looked at it.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I reached out to see if I could get a review copy or something. And I learned that I'm not very important because they didn't respond to me at all.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, well, you know what happens.
Yeah.
But I'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, keep an eye out for it.
Played Codex.
It was not on my radar.
Yeah, I have the vaguest recollection of it being on Kickstarter, but it didn't grab me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not usually big into Vikings.
Yeah.
But I had a good time with the Viking game tonight. So
it's only the Bears, the Vikings. You know
what? They're bears? What?
Bears, yes. Like I don't really even detect there's a Viking theme. It's a fantasy theme.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, you have an archer, you have a hand-to-hand guy, you have a mage. Like I don't even know were there mages during the Vikings? I mean, like it's just.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess the
maybe?
Viking enemies are it's like undead trolls, and yeah, I mean I don't know. It's barely Viking.
It's a tower defense, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
and you go from 0 to hero, one of those kind of games, you know. You have to just withstand the onslaught. It has a cool mechanism where you get quests to go get your equipment. Like you can upgrade yourself with powers and stuff, but the equipment is really nice. Like you want to have a lot of, the equipment gives you lots of different things to do. But you have to basically do something in the game to get the equipment. So you have an equipment deck where the top card is your quest, and you see it, and you're like, oh, I need that. If you don't want that, you can cycle it. And if you do the quest, you get the item. You get the item immediately. Like go over to this location and spend a turn, or no, it's something like just go visit this location or something like that. That kind of thing. But you have to manage that while you're fighting, right? So it's like you're trying to. It's a cool, do I waste, do I potentially lose progress to go get that item? That's a cool dilemma.
Yeah, it looked neat, but yeah, it was solely based on your post. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get it, and I guess I have to come to your house to steal it.
Or you could come to BGCon. Be a BGCon.
Steal it there.
You can steal it there.
Yeah, there'll probably be more than one copy. A little bit easier to steal.
Yeah, but I feel bad if I stole it from like the hot game room. I feel bad.
Do it on the last day, so you won't feel bad.
That's right. I don't steal anything.
Plus, if you get caught last day, who gives a shit? Burn the bridge.
Yeah, I'll say my name is Lance Meister. I work for Great Fox Games. Here's my email.
Yeah. Grab him. He's trying to escape. There are so many times. Well, I shouldn't say so many times. I mean, there like your staff has gotten better about it, but man, there were like more than a handful of times where like I would see like the last day of BGGCon, like just a game that was obviously checked out of your library that just somebody just left on a table somewhere, and I'm just looking at it like, Jesus Christ, why wouldn't you just return this? It's like too far away. You can't.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Hey, your deluxe parts for your video to show off, they were either sent yesterday or today, so you should have them very soon.
Oh, great. Great.
Yeah.
Are there going to be a new cards or anything also?
No, but every single piece of art in the game has been changed. So, and by the same artist, like basically the artist that did the original redid everything. And that's why like the mat's gonna have different side. And you should have all like that drive or whatever that I gave you access to, that should have all of the new art and everything in it. So if you want to show any of that stuff off, you can.
Okay.
So, and if you have any questions about what the stuff is, just you can reach out to me and I can answer you or whatever. So
Yeah, it was fun. Everybody at the table said they want to play again.
it has that effect on people. I saw somebody like posted something on the Facebook Board Game Geek thing saying, "Well, Scott, you linked it." It's like, does anybody know anything about this game? And like multiple people were basically went and
So
saying,
that one actually avoided my radar of no crowdfunding. You got a little lucky there.
"Oh yeah."
We're pretty strict about no crowdfunding on that group.
They just asked about the game. They didn't ask about crowdfunding. They just
Yeah,
said,
that's true.
you know, why don't you just keep your freaking banhammer,
You can pay us money to put ads
I
on
won't.
the
I'm not
website,
gonna. I'm gonna pay. I'm not
but
gonna pay you a plug nickel.
fully supported. Just not the Facebook group. Yeah, you got
Don't do me any
you got a little
favors.
pre-organic stuff there.
Oh well, it's a good thing that my fake Facebook accounts you already you don't know about them. Anybody know anything about this game?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah, they got this guy.
Good plan.
Lester.
I mean, I'm sure that's
Wants to know
that's
about
someone-
this game.
I'm sure someone has done that. My radar always. Luckily, since I know you wouldn't do something like that.
No, I mean, what? I mean,
But I know it's
that just smacks of effort.
yeah, exactly. That's too much effort.
Yeah, just. I mean, and usually people will say that shit anyway. So it's just kind of like, yeah. I mean, we got all kinds of. We've got a giant meeting that we have to have tomorrow to talk about all kinds of stuff in regards to the March 4th Champions of Midgard Anniversary Edition.
Mm-hmm.
Be
We
there
jumped
or-
in with everything. We with everything, Lance. We were like, fuck it. All
Well,
they
yeah,
say is,
I mean, honestly, playing without Val, I mean, like the moment you play with Valhalla, that's the moment you realize I will never not play with Valhalla. I mean,
yeah, that's what we all said. We're like, we could do without the mountains, but we liked it.
well, the mountains just add another place to kill things, so if the other places are gone, you can go there instead. But yeah, I mean, that's like, but Valhalla, it's like, oh, I lost. Oh, well, I still get stuff, so I mean, or I won and I lost a few Vikings, so I won twice, so there's stuff like that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So, what else you guys been playing? What should I be paying attention to?
I don't know, but you're just a machine lately
you
with
played,
the videos. You just keep
Elder Scrolls yet?
punching them out.
Yeah,
you played
I did. I got one of the advanced copies from Gen
That's
Con
right.
last year.
That you sold by accident or
Yeah, golly,
something like that?
but I did. I guested on that podcast on their best of the year. They do a thing where any video game that anybody mentioned, they just talk about. I made a point to talk about it, and then the guy who tried to sell it, I was like, "Oh, we'll pretend his name was Lance." I was like, "Lance, you played this. What do you think?" And I put him on the spot on his own podcast. That made me happy. But yeah, I'm trying to get to Iridia. I did the last time I was on. I did the tutorial. I'm just trying to get to it. I got like 3 more games I got to cover. 4 because Lance needs me, and when Lance needs you, you come running.
Oh yeah, I mean, need is such a.
Don't take this from me, Lance. It's all I have.
Oh, okay.
I put in 2 hours today on a video on how to make a board game shelf out of magnet tiles. It's pretty nice. Pretty quality video. Magnet tiles, yeah. Probably put about 50 pounds of games on it before it collapsed. It's pretty nice. Real evergreen content, potentially.
Dude, 50 pounds, so you put like half of too many bones on there.
I put Scythe. I put Mage Wars with all the expansions. I put After the Empire. I put a bunch on there. Like I didn't fuck around. I like tried to make it like really stable. I did fuck around one part where I put a mouse trap and a little spot for mice to go in, you know, since I said I had a mouse problem, which actually ended up fucking up the stability and being the reason it fell over. But yeah, I want to do it in the future, like make a real one. I just need enough magnet tiles, but it's doable.
Sounds expensive.
It is. I'm hoping I can find them at garage sales and thrift shops and whatnot. But we already have a bunch because I'm a stay-at-home dad. We have a couple hundred already.
No, that's what was I sorry, I blanked out. I haven't, well, I mean, like I already talked about all the crazy, I didn't play anything new really when I was gone for the weekend for playing anything. I mean, I never know about any new games that are coming out. I don't follow that stuff anymore. Not that I'm just too cool for it or whatever, but I mean, it's just it's tough to, I don't know, not care, I guess is the wrong word, but I mean, it's one of those things where it's you end up kind of, I don't know, I mean, removed from the feel of the world that's out there, if that makes any sense. Like it's like the zeitgeist of the new releases and what everybody's jazzed about.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to playing stuff I already have. Like that's what I want to do more than anything.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like Aldi and I have had this discussion so many times about like I'd rather play an older game that I know I like, that I know the rules. You know, I mean, it's just than over trying to figure out something new.
I still like new stuff, but I think it's getting less and less exciting to play new stuff.
They're all the
I'm
same.
excited to try new stuff with that AI
like,
you told me about with the plugging in the rule booklet and asking the questions. I'm really excited for that on some big ones. I'm hoping to get to that next week and like plug in I got an Ascendancy, which has a monster of a rule booklet. I'm hoping I could use that when I learn it.
Ascendancy?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I had the worst demo of any game ever with that Ascendancy game.
Oh, that's great. Tell me more.
Well, you know, and I've had demos from Lance, and so that tells you something.
Nah.
Like it was weird. Like the publisher or designer, whatever, he reached out to me and was like, "Will you cover this?" I was like, "Okay, let's do a TTS." And I got, because someone else was interested. It was like 3 of us were playing this thing, and we kind of read the rules, did our best to understand. It was one of those on Kickstarter, and so the guy, we're on there. He teaches us the game, and he's like, "Okay, you 3 play. I'm here to kind of GM it or whatever." And he just kept like walking off and like doing other crap.
Oh no, that's the worst with new players. Oh.
Yeah, just over and over. We'd be like, "Say, Forrest, Forrest, are you there? Forrest, are you there? Are you there?" But what's up, guys? Like, it was so bad.
Yeah, I've been in games like that.
And I made a video, and I even had to say that talked about. I was like, didn't have the best time, but like I had a real bad demo. Here's what I think's good about it. You'd be shocked he did not use the video on his campaign.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a copy. I covered his Kickstarter and said I was incredibly skeptical, and I doubt he's going to be able to pull off this much content in the game because the whole Kickstarter premise was, it's this and this and there's 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 this, and it's an insane box. Like I have Andromeda's Edge, and then this box is like 15 to 20% bigger, and it's like, oh, ugh. But it looks cool. But yeah.
Yeah, he did not send me one.
Have you guys read anything or seen anything about the Rakugan game that's based in the L5R universe that Monolith is going to come out with? Supposedly, they're going to launch it this year.
Yeah,
I mean, they announced it back in 2023, and it's been
Oh.
like saying, and the thing about it is, there's two things that are silly. One, it's like, well, I'm a big fan of the L5R world. I've always loved that. Whatever, and I mean, I never played the card game, though I know a lot of people just fucking love the card game. Um, I did. They did do a role playing game aspect to it, and I love reading those books. I never played in it though. But I don't know, like there's something about like, oh, can I play like samurai in an area control type of game, which I kind of hope it would be. But like nobody knows anything about how the game is played or what it's like. Also, the thing that I hope for is that it would be a like the minis. If you get a big giant box full of like a bunch of samurai minis and stuff like that, I would love it just for that and be able to, so I could use like the minis for D&D and stuff like that. But again, nobody knows anything about it. It's just kind of this nebulous game out there that they haven't really released a lot of information about.
I've heard that. Who'd you say is publishing it?
Monolith.
Oh yeah. No, I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about Monolith in forever.
Champions of Rokugan, a cooperative board game with miniatures for 1 to 5 players set in the fabulous world of Legend of the Five Rings. Each player will embody a champion of the major clans of the Emerald Empire, vying for the Emperor's favor.
I heard about it from Pete yesterday.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
What'd you hear?
I just that it existed or it was coming.
Well, we're really breaking news on this.
No, I mean it's just like, is it on crowdfunding now?
Well, I think it'll be like on GameFound at some point, right? You know, I mean that's like,
sure.
But yeah, I just don't know anything about it. And I mean, and one of the things that like, I would love is if I could just get a hold of like some really cool looking, you know, like
Samurai minis.
Samurai minis. Yeah. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but I mean, it's just kind of like,
Don't they have some good ones in the Shadows of Brimstone Samurai version?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, yeah.
But those are a lot of work. You could like put them all together.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I played Codex 2 more times, and it is now, I believe, in my top 30 games of all time. That game is brilliant, and if you enjoy 2-player games, I highly recommend it. Infinite replayability. The factions feel fantastically balanced, which is one of his calling cards for Serlin games. And just don't play it 3 players, but 2 players, spectacular. 3 players I enjoy, but it's not nearly as balanced. It doesn't feel.
Codex? I've never even heard of it.
It's not it's not a looker. I mean, it's just cards, a board. You got your own. But the catch is, so essentially, you're either wizards or ghosts, or you get the factions and whatnot. And there's 3 separate paths you can take, and you can kind of lean into 1 or 2 of them. And there's just a boatload of cards that you can combo together, and it's fantastic. It's an older game, but highly recommend checking it out. One of the best 2-player games of all time, in my opinion. Codex.
Yeah, I think that was the designer of
Yomi. So
yeah,
Serlin.
Yomi. Yeah, Serlin.
Yeah. And they had that. Yeah. My buddy's a huge fan of his games, and he keeps bringing them over. And I am a massive fan of Serlin games. I've found out.
I got his it's like a chip game where you're like, it's like mini. It's based on like a fighting game.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's like Chip Fighter or something like that.
I know. I don't know the name of it. I know what you're talking about. I played it once way back.
I've got it in the garage. Potentially someday gonna play. Potentially.
I just played the new Ivy Games Veiled Fate Duel called Scales of Fate. That's pretty cool. don't know if you guys have heard about that at all.
What is it? Dual what?
It's called Scales of Fate. It's their two-player version of their game Veiled Fate, which I never played, but it's really cool. I think it's like 3 weeks of sitting, whatever crowdfunding, little deductions, push and pull game. It's pretty cool. It's beautiful, but I guess all their games are beautiful.
What was it called? Veiled Fate?
Scales of Fate. SCALES of Fate.
I don't know.
Still not sure I'm hearing it correctly. You're a little muffled with the speakerphone.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Well, it's not a big deal.
That's okay.
It's a game that's coming from IV Games, Moonrakers dudes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's cool.
Cool. Neat.
Austin Harrison, that'll be $80.
Yeah.
For that. And one of my brothers designed is getting its first expansion in like 3 weeks or something like that, or like 3 months.
Oh yeah.
Lunar Rush. Yeah, Lunar Rush is getting its super
Lunar-
asymmetric faction expansion.
Does that have a picture of space in your like building on the front from what's that company? Then put out a bunch of stuff. Is that who puts that out?
Dead Alive.
Nope, not the same one I'm thinking of.
Well, yeah, it's a 7.7 on BGG, so that's all that you need to know, right, Scott?
That's all you need to know.
Is he going to be doing anything with it at Gen Con?
I would guess. Let's see, because if it's gonna be, yeah, they'll have to be demoing it, I'm sure, because I think it's I think May is when it's supposed to be on Kickstarter. I think.
You know what old movie I watched today while I was working, just down in the background?
Casablanca.
Schindler's List.
What? No,
Wow.
it was not Casablanca.
Schindler's List.
No.
Gone with
That
the
was
Wind.
just a little pick me up.
Fantasia.
So here I'll give
Bed
you
knobs and broomsticks.
I will give you let's see how long it takes you guys. I'll just give you kind of weird facts about it. And you can
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Could I just give a weird fact before you just
Okay.
throw out your fucking bullshit guesses here?
Okay. You're not a fan of
All right.
CCBB, okay?
It had a remake.
RoboCop.
Ocean's 11.
Starred James Caan.
Looker. Oh,
Grumpy
James-
old man.
James Caan was not in Looker.
Grumpier old man.
Not James Caan.
Oh.
It's Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon.
Jack Lennon. That's what I'm thinking.
Not Thief, is it?
No.
No.
It's about sports.
Oh,
Snapshot.
Slapshot.
Nope.
Dang.
That's Paul Newman. And there was no
Oh.
remake for that.
Oh, there's a sequel. That's what it was. Is that any good?
No.
Rollerball.
Rollerball is correct. Well
that's a fun
done.
one.
Well
The old
done.
one or the new one?
The old one, not that new piece of shit.
That new one's bad.
Yeah, that new one's pretty awful.
I went and saw the
Oh.
movie theater. That was so bad.
That was, yeah, no.
LL Cool.
And oddly prophetic as it talks about the corporations that rule the world and how they, because and how like there are things about it. I mean, it had been several years. I mean, it had probably been 10 years since I'd seen it, and I was just kind of watching it and the the fact that he tries to go to the library and like all the books are gone off the shelves and they've been digitized and like they're just stored on computers and like all the books have been changed to like basically make the corporations look good, and edited. So like you can't actually get like correct information anymore.
Yeah.
And just the fact that
Gosh, I wonder if we're heading that way
yeah, I mean it's just
with all the AI bullshit.
uh he goes to like the main central computer and because he wants to try to track it down and then and then finds that like they've actually ruined that too, like the memory of it is corrupted so you can't actually like get the information anymore. um and then like the whole thing like even the marriages are kind of like he has his ex-wife and the only reason she's his ex-wife is because like an executive decided he wanted to be married to her and so he just took her because you could just buy it. You could buy out like a contract or buy out the marriage kind of thing. It just
Oh wow.
yeah, I mean it's just
Never
like
saw
stuff.
it. Never saw it.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just it's yeah, crazy stuff. And of course, it's just the uh the matches are just bloody and gruesome and barbaric.
So you think it's
Uh,
better than the remake?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
It
I agree.
was
Wasn't is the remake? Is that the one that killed Chris Klein's career? Is that Rollerball?
It was him, LL Cool J, and Jessica Biel, I want to say.
Well, with an all-star cast like that,
I
how
think
could it
that's
fail?
right.
Actually, I shouldn't say that. LL Cool J is pretty damn good.
I do like LL Cool J.
yeah,
Becker
no,
remake.
the remake was
Jessica Biel was not in it.
Who was the
horrible.
lead actress?
It says Rebecca Romaine.
That was it. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I knew there was a third big actor and actress.
Naveen Andrews was in there, the guy from Lost.
The film was critically panned, receiving criticisms for the lack of the original social critique, and was a box office bomb, grossing $25.9 million against the production budget of $70 million.
Those are like board game margins right there.
Yeah, there you go.
It was a fun popcorn flick. I probably would not have been said that if I wasn't movie hopping. I would have been disappointed if I would have paid for it.
What was the I remember I read like the Roger Ebert review of it was just like so wonderfully scathing. Hold on. Rollerball. Yes. Here we go. Rollerbar. Half a star. Written February 8th, 2002. Rollerball is an incoherent mess, a jumble of footage in search of plot, meaning, rhythm, and sense. There are bright colors and quick movement, which we can watch as a visual pattern that, in entertainment value, falls somewhere between a kaleidoscope and a lava lamp. The movie stars Chris Klein, who shot to stardom, so to speak, in the American Pie movies and inhabits his violent action role as if juggling against the impulse to blurt out, "People, why can't we all just get along?" Klein is a nice kid. For this role, you need someone who has to shave 3 times a day. The movie is set in 2005 in the Central Asian Republic, apparently somewhere between Uzbekistan and Mudville. Jean Renault plays Petrovich, owner of the hottest sports startup in the world, a rollerball league that crowds both motorcycles and roller skaters on a figure-8 track that at times looks like roller derby crossed with a demo derby, and other times with a cruddy video game. The sport involves catching a silver ball and throwing it at a big gong so that showers of sparks fly. One of the star players confesses she doesn't understand it, but so what? In the final game, Petrovich suspends all rules, fouls, and penalties. This makes absolutely no difference from what I can see. Klein plays Jonathan Cross, an NHL draft pick who has to flee America in a hurry for the crime of racing suicidally down the hills of San Francisco flat on his back and what I think was his skateboard. His best friend is Marcus Ridley, LL Cool J, who persuades him to come to Podunkistan and sign for the big bucks. Jonathan is soon attracted to Aurora, Rebecca Romaine. Your face isn't nearly as bad as you think, he compliments her. She has a scar over one eye, but otherwise looks beautiful. As we can see, because the locker rooms of the future are co-ed. Alas, the women athletes of the future still turn their backs to the camera at the perfect moments, carry strategically placed towels, and stand behind furniture in the general follow the rules first established in 1950s nudist volleyball pictures. I counted 3 games in the rollerball season. The third is the championship.
Oh God, does it keep going?
Yes, there is one road trip to a rival team's rollerball arena, which seems to have been prefabricated in the city dump. The games are announced by Paul Heyman, who keeps screaming, "What the hell is going on?" There is no one else in the booth with him. Yet when Aurora wants to show Jonathan that an injury was deliberate, she can pull up instant replays of all the cameras on equipment thoughtfully provided in the locker room. The funniest line of the movie belongs to Jean Reno, who bellows, "I'm this close to a North American cable deal." North American cable carries battling bots, Iron Chefs, Howard Stern, and monster truck rallies. There isn't a person in the audience who couldn't give him that deal. Renault has the second funniest line. After Jonathan engages in an all-night 120-mile-per-hour motorcycle chase through the frozen steppes of Bankruptistan, where the military planes drop armed jeeps to chase him, and after he sees his best pal blown to bits after leaping across the suspension bridge that had been raised in the middle of the night for no apparent reason, Renault says, "Make sure you play well tonight." Just and then he goes on and on. But one of the things is that there's a thing on. I remember they said they talk about the fact that at one point, like Rollerball has like a scene where they have to all wear night vision goggles.
Yeah.
But it's like, but for whatever reason, I forget what the exact reason is, but then the camera goes into the night vision look, so you can see with the night vision, but then they take off their night vision goggles, but you continue in the night vision look. I mean, I watched like part of it when it was on like streaming somewhere just to see if it was as bad as people say. And it was pretty bad.
That review kind of makes me want to see it.
I do now. But I remember watching out and saying, "Damn, that was better than a Kaleidoscope." So you know what? I disagree.
You disagree?
Well, I mean, it wasn't great, but it was. I remember not hating it. Some good action sequences in there, but I was like 15, 16, 17 years old at the time. So,
Trevor Johnson, critic, described it as a checklist shaped by a 15-year-old mall rat.
There you go.
Apparently, they said I need a thrash metal music, skateboards, motorbikes, cracked heads, and Rebecca Romaine with her top off. Rotten Tomatoes Films gives an approval rating of 3%.
That's not bad.
3%.
Hey, I've seen some zeros.
All right. Well, I suppose it's 1 now. I planned on like cutting it off at midnight, but
talk to you later.
Yeah, I mean, good night, everybody. See you next week. Hey, March 4th, Champions of Midgard.
Yeah, you'll get your video.
You still got a few days to.
Yeah, I know.
All right, guys. Have a good night. I'm actually just pulling into my driveway, so perfect timing.
All right.
Well,
have a good one.
Why do we park on driveways and drive on parkways?
Even